and welcome to the Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. It's Monday, December 21st, 2020. Crypto Jack coming to you live again. And as always, joined by two of our glorious hosts, Alex and Jason. How are you guys doing this morning?
Happy Bloody Monday, everyone. Doing great, except for Bitcoin.
I'm doing really great, thank you.
Wonderful. Indeed, seemingly a bit of a sea of red today in the crypto space.
This is why we tell people to position size correctly, because that could have been brutal if you were over leveraged.
Indeed, but I think we've had a few of our members take a short or hedge up at least around the 24K mark, so some of them may very well be looking quite handsome today.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we had a bit of a sell-off overnight. We've since recovered quite a bit of ground, and we're kind of just lingering up here. Everybody wondering, is the parabolic rise going to continue, or is 24K where we gassed out, and it's now time for a large correction? One thing that will potentially give us some food for thought is going to be another development in the MicroStrategy story, which of course this big financial institution who's been buying up a lot of Bitcoin. One of the last things that we touched on when we covered the MicroStrategy story is of course they allocated about 650 million additional monies to buy up the Bitcoins, and well, it turns out they spent the entire 650 mil on it, and they bought in their 650 mil allocation around the
They FOMO'd.
Yeah, they FOMO'd in. They bought in around 21.5, and it brought they currently own about 1.1 billion worth of BTC with an average entry about 15.5. So
21.5. It's basically like the entire end of this run was them hitting the market buy button.
Right.
We haven't been above $20,000 that long.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely FOMOing.
Indeed, this is how delicious.
So this all could have been them.
This is how delicious.
Yeah, maybe this entire run is them.
Yeah, this is how delicious an institutional FOMO looks. And then now on Monday we see the aftermath, where the whales, even the Chinese whales, and maybe even the small guy, the small retail guy, manages to dump on the institution's head for a change. But I guess we'll see. I guess nothing is over yet, and price still looks quite robust up here. But this is something for our analysts to explore very shortly. If we take a quick look at the bottom of the window, our dear audience, you can see our show schedule. This gives you a rough idea how we're going to conduct the next 2 hours. In the first hour, we're of course going to cover the majors like Bitcoin and... somebody needs to...
I think that's me. I'm sorry.
All good.
My apologies.
All good. Yeah, so first hour, we're going to cover the majors, Bitcoin, Ethereum, before we get into the alts. Might touch on Forex and traditional markets. By the second hour, of course, we will be getting to the chart requests, the Q&A from the audience. So, of course, if you guys have any kind of questions, any charts you'd like us to show, we will be gathering them up during the course of the show and answering them in a timely manner. Hopefully we get to all of them today. On Friday, of course, we were inundated with a lot of requests. We didn't get to them all, but today we'll try to. So let's see here. Finally, of course, we'll do a bit of a news coverage. Going to cover this MicroStrategy development. Maybe dive into the other big story of the day, which of course is the Ledger leak. I see a lot of people talking about the Ledger leak, so we'll probably have to cover that. Nothing too significant, I think, on the Ledger front, so nobody panic. But we'll probably discuss a few best practices and what to avoid going forward if you were one of the unlucky souls whose personal details might have been divulged in the big Ledger leak. But we'll get into that shortly. Before we dive into the main scene and have the analysts start doing their thing, I'm going to shout out everyone who was here nice and early this morning. Let me take a look. Currently about 41 viewers, 17 likes, very nice. Mr. Ether was the first guy in the door today, saying he shared via Twitter. Everyone share the stream where possible. It'll really help our community grow. Absolutely. If you guys can, spread it around, spread the word.
Shout out to Mr. Ether for holding that long open from 10K, closing it at 24 and hedging up at 24. Pretty impressive, my friend.
Yeah, he made a killing,
Yeah,
and now
I wish I had done all that.
Right? He's gunning
Yeah.
for our job.
yeah, he did what I was hoping to do, which was catch the breakout move from 10 to 20. But shoutouts to Mr. Ether. He seems to have played
sure.
it. He played it very keenly, and
Played
now
it like a fiddle.
Yep, and now he's hedged up and making money on the way down. So Mr. Ether, never ceases to amaze, and he's such a humble guy. So much love to Mr. Ether.
Mhm.
And indeed, he says make sure you share the
He's
stream.
finally gonna come work with us once he gets rich. So
Yeah, he's
Bing.
paid for drinks.
I'm hoping for you, buddy. We could use your support.
Yeah, and
your
if you're looking for something to share, guys, Twitter is always good. You can always find our tweet of the day in there announcing the stream. If you'd like to go in there and like it or retweet it, that's very helpful. Thank you, guys. It helps us get traction on Twitter as well. Marco was second through the door today, and he says, "Happy Monday, everyone. Which way are we going to be? Which way? Hey, Marco, how are we going to be going on Bitcoin? I need to re-enter BTC, and I'm looking for a dip. I am sure many people are feeling the same way. They're waiting for that dip and trying to get back in. So we're gonna hopefully have the analysts get into that. Yep, indeed. Let's see here. Let me keep going." Mr. Ether says he shared on Facebook, giving all my friends the gift of CC community. Indeed. One great little gift you can drop in someone's stocking is tipping them off to the show, especially if they're interested in crypto. Our community's pretty good. Hell, just stopping into the Discord, we had some pretty cool new members come through, and we had some nice discussions in the voice chat this weekend, so it was a really good time. Shout out to all the new members who joined the premium this weekend after a bit of back and forth in the live chat. It was really good. Let's see here. Ron Legato's in here saying hello. Hello, Mr. Ron Legato. S. Hyatt's in here as always. Hello, S. Hyatt. And Cap Futures, nice to see you, bud. And Cap is dabbing in the live chat. Stun Gun says, greetings all. Hello, Stun Gun. Jordan Stotts is here saying blessings to the CC team. Yes, all blessings to you and yours, Jordan, as well. Mr. Ether, Binance has reopened. Oh, I wasn't aware Binance was down this morning. Binance is back up.
Yeah, only heard it from 8 people. So
Peckham08 says evening all. So it's currently evening over in the UK. So Peckham, I hope you're doing okay over there. I hear things are getting kind of ugly on the UK front. I can't say more though. We can't use any of those keywords regarding the current kind of global issue afoot, so let's just steer clear of that topic. Ruben Sosa's here. Hello guys, looking forward to this live event. It's nice to have you, Mr. Sosa. I think you were one of the guys who dropped a request kind of late last week, Friday, and we didn't get to it, so we'll try to give you a little priority this week for any chart requests you have. Peckham08 tweeted every day for you. Thank you, Mr. Peckham, for your tweets. He says he bought 1.5 ETH at $600 today and 3 Litecoin at 105. That's what I call Money Monday. That's kind of what we encourage around here, especially if you're a newer investor, newer trader. It's probably a wise idea to just kind of take it slow. Don't FOMO into any major positions. Buy modest amounts once every week, once a month. And before you know it, you've got a nice little bag of Bitcoin or altcoins accumulated, and you're ready to tackle the next major cycle. Peckham asking about Rev. We're going to take a look at Rev. He seems to be pointing at Alex. Maybe that's a trade Alex put on or tipped him off to, so we'll explore that. Mac W.
I don't know it.
Mac W says, send me 1 Bitcoin and I'll send you 2 Bitcoin. No, don't do that, Mac. No one send 1 BTC because you'll never get anything back in return. But indeed, he's just kind of joking around. We will be covering that in our security best practices when we get to the ledger story a little later. Mr. S. Hyatt says, shops are brutal in the UK. Gotta stock up. Indeed. Probably now is a good time to stock up while you still can. I hear things are getting a little dicey. There is they're putting us in detention here in Canada as well for Christmas, so we have to again be careful. We can't even use the LD word around here, so I'm going to avoid that topic. As Hyatt, no, he's not as Hyatt, wondering if Mac W is a spammer. He's not a spammer. He was just joking around, but all right.
Quite a bit.
He is in here all the time. It was maybe just a joke that went over poorly, but it's all good. Here we go. I think we got it here. 59 watching, 19 likes, Very, very nice. I see one last comment just came through, and it's hello Galera. I double MacW's offer. Okay, now people are trying to double down. PSG and Juve tokens, any good? Yeah,
It
you know,
just came out, man.
we were just talking about these two, and the guys in the chat don't even know what PSG or Juve is. So, the boys over here, American football is different than the Euro football. All right, boys. But we'll certainly dive into those topics as we get into the alts. I can't fret much longer, though. I have to let Alex start talking Bitcoin. I'm sure everybody wants to know what's going on, so I'm going to jump scenes real quick, confirm that everything is aligned and good. Yep, we're good here. We're good here. All right, Alex, take it away. I got you on screen.
Hey guys, so pretty big day. I think I wrote a big market analysis this morning for the members that basically reads that today is a great example of buy the rumor and sell the news. What news am I talking about? The news is the stimulus news. The stimulus news.
$600, baby.
Yes, so I'll definitely get into that. But what? Why do people say buy the rumor and sell the news? Like, especially if the news is good, don't we see the markets react well to good news? Like, yeah, sometimes we do. And buy the rumor, sell the news is not a 100% true be all end all adage. But it's moments like these that I think really prove the rule. So the market has been riding on good news. There's been vaccine hopes, and then we got good vaccine news, then we got second better vaccine news, and then we got some vaccine news that everyone's like, this is nice and all. And we have traded sideways for the entire month of December. Here, let's go over to the main stock market. Let's take a look at the SPY here. The entire month of December, we've just kind of paused here as a doji. So now we have the stimulus news that everybody's been looking forward to, and that's it. If you're a large institution, you have to be trying to factor in what prices are going to be in the future. The markets are future-looking speculative investment vehicles. People buy because of what the price is going to be in the future, not because of what the price is now. I mean, if you think the price is going to go up from now, then you buy. If you think the price is going to go down from now, that sometime in the future, then you would sell. So in this case, there's no signs that there's anything positive on the horizon for the economy at this point, and the stimulus itself is, as Jason said, an incredibly underwhelming piece of legislation. I don't think anybody here thinks that $600 is a lot of money. It's certainly not a lot of money to me. And if anybody here pays rent, which I assume everybody here pays rent, then you know that it's not even really a full month's rent for almost any location worth living in.
Even a mortgage.
Yeah, so it's ridiculous on the face of it. I hope that the markets are reflecting that ridiculousness, but I don't necessarily want to go so far as to say, okay, that's it, the markets are going to crash now. I will say that I'm going to show you guys a bunch of charts today that look really ugly. But I've been proven wrong before, and so I don't want to tell you guys to go out and buy a bunch of Tesla puts, or necessarily to dump all of your alts. But I will say that there's a lot of alt charts that look really bad right now, and Tesla's pretty overextended, and the market's it has the stimulus news, and then what is it? At least for the rest of December and early January, until maybe Biden gets sworn in, what do the markets actually have to look forward to?
Indecision.
There could be some surprise good news, and the markets would totally react to surprise good news. But for any normal news, they'd be like, yeah, okay, we already knew this good news was coming out, and now there's even less good news. Each time, it ends up being a vicious cycle where it's like, well, what good news is there going to be now?
Mm-hmm.
So, big story this morning, at least, was this big reversal that happened in the Dixie. We were talking about this last week, how the Dixie had sort of begun to reach this consolidation area that we had in the past. This area sort of being the only visible support before just a complete free fall. But I expect us to likely consolidate in this area for a while. So we had this big move down, consolidated, and we've had this other big move down. And what we've already reached, this area has already been an area of consolidation previously, and it's likely it will remain so for now. But we got a reaction off of it, and that's a good sign. I have this descending wedge drawn here. I don't know. I don't know how accurate it is. You'll see if the market reacts the way I want it to. But if we do get a break of this, then I would at least look for a retest of this area right here. And if we did get that, then as we all know, that means a particularly strong headwind against Bitcoin. Because remember, Bitcoin had a big down day, the Dixie having a big up day. As they are, I'm kind of trailing off here because it seems obvious. But what I'm saying is that Bitcoin's trading pair is the USD, and as the USD gains in value, that pushes against the USD price of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, if it closes like this, daily sell signal, which is good for us because, as you guys know, I have foregone buying above the baseline until we get a little bit of a pullback towards resistance as support or baseline, depending on how you want to look at it. Let's open that up. Okay, the baseline. So I drew this out for you guys on Thursday or Friday, one of those days. I think when we were right over here. This is where I would like to see us pull back to. This little ridge of volume is on basically every Bitcoin chart that you see. I think it's a good location to keep our eyes on for a potential continuation long. This also allows us to take our long closer to the baseline, and that way, if you took your long at 23,000, right now you're underwater and you're like, oh my god. What happens if we break below 20K? Do I just hold on? Are we going to go to 19? Are we going to go to 18? Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. It's going to happen. Buying close to the baseline allows us to be like, okay, if we get our continuation here, fantastic. That's what I wanted to happen. But if it then kind of, remains weak, we trade sideways here and then break down below this trend line I have marked out right here. If we broke below that, that would be a real break of the parabolic trend, and then that would be very bearish. At that point, we would be looking for 18, 15, 13, or figuring out where we're going to land. But until then, I think we should, especially if we're above the baseline, we're above the trend, we should be still looking for longs. So I think good areas to look for to grab that long for a pullback is 21,400 and 20,700. So I have these marked out on a couple different charts. So Binance data still down actually. The story's a little different on Ethereum. So that's there's not much more to say on Bitcoin. If we close this week down, we will have a weekly sell signal, and maybe we could hang up here for this week and then finally move down here for the week for a second week, and then by January we're ready to continue onwards. You know what I mean? And then then our time transformation will reset. We'll put in a continuation signal. And so this doesn't necessarily mean the end of our bull run, even if we do get this pullback towards 20K here, as long as we can remain above that trend line that I showed you. If that breaks, then we'll get that pullback we've been looking for, or if you're not in Bitcoin, hoping for. I'm kind of hoping for a larger pullback. That'd be swell.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and it's the same story for everything right now, and it's why I'm a little bit more bearish. Is that Bitcoin has this weekly sell signal that if we get it, will likely mean we've got a couple more weeks of pullback. And it's not only Bitcoin. We have that on the SPY right now. It's like, yes, we sort of recovered it a little bit this morning, but not that much. We're below the daily baseline on the SPY, as you can see. We have I don't know if you would necessarily consider this. It's an ascending wedge. Yeah. So we've got a break of this. If you measure this, it'll likely give us a retest of this previous resistance line. So the way I'm imagining this right now is not necessarily a huge permanent market sell-off back to lows, but there are some things that should give us pause. This weekly sell signal, the fact that here on the SPY, we're pretty close to the weekly baseline. The weekly baseline has been riding pretty close to the SPY. If we broke this, we'd be below our baseline, and then that would likely kind of presage a further drop. And then the same is true same is not true on the NASDAQ. We're still within the wedge. It's the Dow I'm thinking of. The Dow is currently the most bearish out of these. Oh, interesting. It has. Oh no, I'm still on the QQQ. Okay. All right. Most bearish is the Dow. As you can see, we've got a break of our ascending wedge. We are below the baseline, and if we turn on our weekly, we've gotten a little bit of a buyback here, and the sell signal has disappeared for now, but we're going to keep our eyes on it. Earlier today, we had a sell signal, but hey, the week doesn't end until Friday, guys, so.
Got a long week ahead of us, that's for sure.
Yeah. Bitcoin dominance is telling us right now to stay out of alts. Whether you're a long-term believer, that's cool, but maybe you should keep more of your portfolio in Bitcoin. At least that's what this chart is telling us. Because likely market cap in crypto will continue to drain into Bitcoin here. Whether this means that Bitcoin pumps alone and alts just kind of trade sideways, or the entire market dumps but alts dump harder, or maybe Bitcoin, everything goes up and Bitcoin pumps harder. I don't know. But what this chart is telling us that we're getting a long-term reversal in market cap, where we had this long alt season. Well, this was the long alt season, but we had a longer period of time where alts did fairly well against Bitcoin, say from August of last year to almost August of this year. And now that trend is broken. So I would suggest that for now, alts may be burnt. So let's look at the alt charts. Why are alts maybe burnt right now?
I just want to
if you look at that, wouldn't you say we're probably going to at least retest this area if you looked at this on the inverse? So.
It does not look strong.
I just want to hop in real quick. There's a comment here I want to highlight that's kind of relevant to what we're talking about right now. Andrew says Ethereum, Bitcoin versus the Bitcoin dominance chart sure does make Ethereum look good on the weekly. That is all. That comes from Andrew.
Looking at Bitcoin too. You could be right. Maybe this is Ethereum's time to shine, but to me, Ethereum is looking even worse
Yeah,
off.
weaker. No higher highs. It definitely is stuck below resistance.
Yeah, so we're back. We're already back below the baseline on Ethereum. We've already got our daily sell signal on Ethereum. We had it yesterday. I mean, I probably wouldn't have taken that. I mean, we were above the baseline.
Still
It wouldn't
above the
have made
baseline,
much sense. But it was a signal that if you had a different baseline, maybe you could have taken it. Let's see here. Yeah, why don't we take out WADA, because I think there could even be a short signal on Ethereum by the end of today.
Well, you'd have to assume that there's rising momentum with the sell.
Yeah, because at this point we've broken back below resistance. We've broken back below resistance. We're back below the baseline. We've got a sell signal on time transformation. And let's see what WADA says. 1 second. Let's WADA this up. Let's see, WADA's telling us we don't have enough bearish momentum yet. We might not be able to take this.
I think that's crazy that that's green right now, but...
Oh, that's right. I've got false positive filter on. Let me turn that off. I prefer it more sensitive, although false positive filter will probably give you more accurate signals over.
Oh yeah, that does change it for
We've
sure.
got momentum, but we just don't have the volatility there yet. We'll see what happens.
You have to wait.
But it's starting to feel like this is just an up thrust above distribution, and then we'll break down here. And at this point, we could conceivably retest $440. Well, we haven't retested that super hard since we broke above it in early November. So that still would bring us to the problem of this trend line, the logarithmic trend line. If we break this, it's a pretty bad sign. And at that point, I would expect to retest all the way of the $300 range and kind of like dip back into this order block that we reaccumulated on here before. So pull back, we break this, and then this like a 30-40% pullback to here. Oh, that's rough. I don't know. 50% is a lot. But I guess we'll see what happens. I'm just trying to get a sense of what the market might do next. If we do break above this level, if I'm wrong and it's just it ends up being more bullish than I thought, I would target $800, which is our next resistance level, as shown here. Boom, you can see right here. Right now, this support level right here, resistance, support, this is our resistance level right here. So we could knock against it a few more times. I'm not saying you got to rush in your short this minute. This weekly candle does not end for another 6 days. So we'll see what happens. Ethereum, Bitcoin right now. What are you talking about, man? This looks awful. This looks awful.
He was saying I'm not sure how exactly, but he's saying in relation to the Bitcoin dominance chart, he thinks that Ethereum does look good on the weekly due to its relation to the Bitcoin dominance chart. Not sure how, but
yeah, man, this looks pretty rough.
I don't know if he's assuming that Bitcoin dominance is going to reverse, and so is this. Like, I'm not sure what he's looking at there.
Yeah. Look at this weekly baseline bounce. Bink.
Looks like XRP.
Yeah. This is pretty wilty. I don't think this looks this doesn't look that good at all. Probably come down here and retest 2.2 million sats. For those of you new people, if you're wondering how I do the math, there's 100 million sats in a Bitcoin. So 100 million, tens of millions, ones of million. All right. That's right. We were going to look at alts. So Bitcoin dominance is, and by the way, I can't help but notice that those are almost inverse charts. The ETH Bitcoin and look at that.
In the dominant, that's what I was saying. That's where I'm not sure what he's saying. That it looks strong against it. Because I'm like, is that making the assumption that right here Bitcoin dominance is going to reverse, and so is ETH? I don't know where you're getting strength out of ETH out of that chart. I think
I love this. I love this strong continuation signal on market cap dominance. It's like, nope, we're going for it. If you guys remember, I thought we were going to get a little bit more of a pullback here before we retested it, but we just, bam.
Mm-hmm.
Mid caps. These don't look terrible here, but we need to hold this area. So if we do not hold this area, then it starts to feel like this is all a distribution area. At that point, I want to see us come down and retest, like get a full pullback into the 600s here, or maybe even bring us all the way down into this consolidation area right here. I don't expect to retest these lows. March of last year was a panic. People could still... There could still be a large sell-off in the market without there being a panic the way there was last year. There was so much uncertainty. This year, people are a little bit used to the pandemic. They could still get afraid, but that type of panic... Man, you guys remember that in early March? There was a feeling in the air.
How could we forget?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
There's something different. I do not necessarily foresee something like that. Shitcoin index right now, this is looking really rough. This is starting to feel like we made a parabolic high. We broke down, and then as price does, it comes back up to retest the high, and then breaks down again further. DeFi coins looking particularly rough here. If we close down, we will get a sell signal this week. Uniswap coins, we will have to see how the week ends. At this point, it's looking like we'll likely break down below the daily trend. Right now, this looks like a lower high, 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 lower high. Here's DeFi perp on the daily. We do not quite have a triple top pattern yet, but I mean, if we just have a down day tomorrow, then we're there. And it would not be unusual for us to retest lows after making a low, right? So we had this break of the descending wedge. If you do a measured move, it'll take you basically right up into this area. We trade sideways, and then we retest the low. So whether you're bullish and you think that, I'm just a damn fool for even considering that, mid caps could fall all the way down here and alts could fall all the way down there. Maybe you're right, but it still would not be unheard of for us to get a fairly significant pullback to retest the lows after making a big low, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I can't hear anything that any of you guys are saying, but I will assume you agreed with me because I make a lot of sense. Okay, I'm going to take a small break. Why don't we look at member comments?
Yep, no problem. This gives me an opportunity to scroll up here and get into a series of comments that came in earlier from Agency, and here's what he says, because you were talking about the $600 stimulus checks, and they're really not going to go that far. And indeed, they're really not. And so Agency says, please talk about the job numbers and the benefits running out and the millions of Americans facing eviction. Please talk some sense into the money printers go burr crowd. All right, before I read any further, let's highlight those two comments.
Sure.
Okay, so basically, stimulus is not necessarily a bad thing, and if there's ever a case for the government exercising its power to print money and potentially rescue people from dire straits, people facing eviction in the middle of the holidays or winter, or whenever really, during the middle of a national crisis, it is a pretty good time to do so. I think, indeed, I think sometimes the money printer go burr crowd, maybe kind of gets off track a little bit. And I do object to the government frivolously spending money. They came up with what, 700 billion for defense spending and a measly $600 for stimulus, right? So it's not necessarily that the money printers are bad. In fact, maybe central banking is a very important part of, you're a sovereign nation state. But when they end up spending money on frivolous stuff and not rescuing people, the common man that does need the most help, that's where the problems come in. And I think that's what agency's highlighting. What do you guys think? $600 ain't gonna go too far, is it?
That's a joke. I mean,
Oh, well, yeah, I mentioned it's not going to cover
1 month of rent.
If it does cover 1 month, which it won't for the majority of our audience. I just want you guys to know. I know that it will only cover that 1 month. It's not covering 2 months, and you're certainly maybe you guys can go out and buy a couple boxes of mac and cheese and some hot dogs to throw in there because that's about all you're going to be able to afford.
Yeah.
If you're feeling fancy, because otherwise it's like rice and spam. No, spam's expensive. Canned luncheon meat, generic.
Ramen.
Yeah, ramen.
All right,
agents. If you got any kind of kids, $600 is going to be the grocery bill. I mean.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Food prices also have gone up in recent years. It's extremely expensive.
Going up, it's
very expensive to stock the pantry and the fridge in recent years, and in Canada it's even worse. We introduced a carbon tax a few years ago, and that dramatically increased the cost of pretty much everything on the market, but food in particular, obviously, because food and transportation of food, production of food, highly dependent on petrochemicals and carbon. So food prices have been skyrocketing in Canada recently, and then our dear Prime Minister announced that by the end of the decade they want to quadruple or more the carbon tax, and it's gonna be out of control. With that said, next thing the agency mentioned was dollar bears are about to get destroyed, and the hyperinflation gold bugs are about to lose everything. So agencies bullish on the dollar. Don't count the USD out. In fact,
precious metals are down today too. We can look at them later, too.
Indeed, PMs are down. So let me see if there's anything else I missed on that front. Agency finally says looks pretty flat for a top on BTC at least. So he's not convinced we're topping out quite yet.
Yeah, I'm not convinced either, and I stopped short of being super bearish on Bitcoin because, the week just started. We definitely don't have that weekly sell signal on TT. We've been threatening to get the weekly sell signal for about 6 weeks. So, I definitely would not count my chickens on that before they hatch. That's why I want us to be looking for that long around 20,700. Maybe layer it into that. You don't necessarily need to put it right there. And we get front run and it's 2750 and no one gets or 20,750, no one gets filled. That sucks.
And it's one of the good things about having a rule set on when you're supposed to be looking for longs and looking for shorts, because we are above the 60 hole yet still. We still have plenty of room to move to stay above that, and we still could remain bullish. So getting overly bearish too soon can often be a problem.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth, buddy?
I didn't want to break my rules, but Mr. Ether did, and he so far has been reaping the rewards of that. So again, cheers to him.
Indeed. Let's take a look here before we get back into the charts. Agency ended up saying, man, all these trillions of dollars of money printing, but no spike in CPI. What gives? Where's the massive inflation? Is the Fed not going to save us and keep this market propped up? Crypto Caveman asks, am I from Canada, brother? Yep.
I don't think there is any way to keep the market up. I mean,
Yeah.
past a certain point. I mean, I think they've certainly done a job of it.
I mean, this is like the last 70 years of market. Like, I don't think that it's at some point it's going to have to correct, but I mean, like you're right. I don't think it's possible to keep it going forever.
I mean, there's been a lot of times in history that governments have tried to either keep a certain price stable or make something or declare that something is a certain price, and then the market ends up just. I mean, there's supply and demand. What are you going to do? You can't order people to sell something at a price they don't want to sell it at and buy something at a price they don't want to buy it at.
Indeed. All right.
Where like no one has any more desire to buy stocks, the market will drop. There's no demand. It will happen. I just don't know when it is.
It's all about the timing.
Okay. Alex, do you want to get back into it, or do you want me to read a few more comments? Because trust me, there's plenty to read.
Well, let's read a few more comments.
All right, JF Airplane says Dollard is bouncing. Time for a normal correction as the end of the year. All right, so he sees the dollar bounce merely as a correction that's overdue. Mac W says he's long on coal, and could we look at the Chinese markets later? Yep, Mac, we will definitely take a look at Chinese markets in a bit. Mac W says there's a 27% tax coming for fuel or gas. I'm not sure where that will be, but maybe he means under the Biden administration they're planning to hike fuel taxes in America, but we'll see about that.
What does he mean by the Chinese markets? Because I've got the CN 50, and then yes, I can look at that. But if there's like specific stocks or something, like I would not.
I presume that Chinese index, the CN or CA, yeah.
We'll Dragon Perp, was that one of them?
No, CNA 50.
CNA 50.
Yeah,
we'll
A50 is China. Yeah.
All right, so we'll take a look at that shortly. Agency says price stabilizers can work. Just look at buffer stocks. Been effective since the mercantile age. Andrew says little guys are going to buy up the elitist stocks. They couldn't if they wanted to. Indeed, Main Street is probably tapped out at this point, and the people with the the 401ks and the big retirement portfolios, they just seem to be dwindling in numbers at this point. Zenith is in here. He's talking about the fuel tax in Canada. Okay, so they are hiking fuel, I think, next year. I think I heard that too. Average Gamer says, first time listener, very chill, informative stream. Thanks, guys. Well, I'm not sure how Average Gamer can be a first time listener because he has a wrench next to his name. So, first time listener already has moderator status. This guy must have joined us from the future, but okay. Agency says, the issue, you might have logged in with the wrong account, bro. But thanks for hyping us, bro. Agency says the issue right now is the Fed has done all they can, and it's up to Congress to massively increase deficit spending. Yeah, Fed done everything it can, and now we need the stimulus to roll in, and it can't be a pathetic $600. Not with everybody sidelined, not with the economy.
With everyone being so broke, they're immediately going to put that money right back into the market.
Oh, Mac W says he doesn't really know anything about Chinese markets, but he's curious how China's looking, so he was just asking in general. So,
let's look at the Chinese index.
I was going to say,
I thought you were asking me to do a deep dive, and I was like, man, you're asking the wrong thing.
I think he just wants to kind of have a general idea, where China stands in all this, because I guess as Westerners...
He's just trying to keep an eye on China.
Yeah, as Americans, we kind of know... where our economy kind of maybe sits right now, and we're probably curious what's going on over there, right? They did have their own crisis earlier last year, and they seem to have pulled out. I hear there's big parties in W City, if you know what I mean. I heard street parties galore. Sorry?
I don't know what you mean.
Do you know the epicenter of the outbreak?
Oh, in Wuhan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying not to use that keyword, but.
Oh.
Yeah, we're screwed.
But I hear they have like their Chinese festivals and their big parties right now, and that the whole city's basically in the streets partying. So they seem to have left the crisis behind, and here we are, still slogging through it. Okay, all right. Let me see if there's any other comments in here before I kind of move back into Alex if he's prepared. Okay. Andrew kind of, I think, elaborated on what he meant. He said, draw a trend line from the 2019 bottom for Ethereum Bitcoin, and then the trend line for Bitcoin dominance on the top from 2019. Basically, one is at resistance and one's at support. Not necessarily strong, but worth a swing in my opinion. Alright, so I think he means that dominance is at resistance, but Ethereum Bitcoin's at support. And so
basically, in a nutshell, he's saying what
dominance as at resistance, and I don't see support underneath Ethereum Bitcoin here. I mean,
maybe it's the other way around. Maybe Ethereum Bitcoin's at resistance and dominance is at support.
And that's what I thought he was saying when I said, like, I think he's counting on a reversal of Bitcoin dominance and a reversal of Ethereum BTC.
I just, with this weekly close below the weekly support, I just don't see the support here anymore. I mean, I guess I see your point. We have kind of bounced off this area twice already. You know, I don't want to tell you that you're wrong here. Maybe you're right, but I don't necessarily see it, especially because of how strong the weekly close is on Bitcoin dominance.
Yeah, and it does look like Bitcoin dominance might be signaling a continuation here at the end of the week. But again, we have a whole week, so.
Yeah, I mean, essentially what you're saying is if you think, especially Ethereum, which is a major alt, and which would really move this, you're saying that you think this chart is going to reverse here. I just don't see it. You know, when you look at this weekly, like, I don't even know what that would look like. We just have to go.
Yeah, it would have to just fall completely.
Yeah, Andrew, not to put you on the spot, we're not critiquing it by any means your personal feelings or analysis on the. Yeah. He says
it absolutely could work out that way, but like the evidence that we're looking at from a technical standpoint, it does not point to that at all.
Yeah, he says it's Monday, like you said, and in this game, our theories can change by the hour. Indeed, Andrew.
So fast.
Andrew, I think, has got his grip on his personal thesis, so we're not trying to invalidate that too much.
Yeah.
Our analysts are merely sharing their thoughts, and I appreciate Andrew putting out his. Let me see here before we get any further. Is there something else I wanted to cover in the comments here? Have you guys checked out Zill? Been pumping like crazy. Yep, we'll put that on the list.
Zill is one of the only ones that pumped hard today. Everything else was down, and Zill kept going.
Indeed. Okay, so I keep in mind.
I feel like we're kind of missing the boat here. We're look for one more pullback. Try and get in here. I mean, it really looks even good on the weekly.
Yeah.
We shall see. Okay, please continue.
Oh, right. Excuse me. Theo asks, does anybody know when the stimulus will be handed out? Do you guys
who knows?
Down there know anything about that? I'm not following the American stimulus.
Took them this long to get it decided, so it'll probably be a couple months. I don't know.
Hopefully they dispatch it in short order, but I still think we're in for a turbulent next few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think I kind of covered most of the comments here. But I have, of course, if you guys, for anybody new in the audience, I am taking notes of every last chart request and other relevant comment, and they are logged. And then we will certainly look into them, or we'll get them up on the chart shortly. So don't worry, we're not missing any requests. We will get to them. I have a list here. It's ready to go. And IR Pixel Roleplay says, is Binance down? I believe it was, but it's back up. Anybody know anything about Binance today?
I don't know what happened with Binance, but the EOS chart he's looking at looks like garbage. Ugh.
Wish I sold at 15 when I had a chance, way back when.
I bought at 15 way back when. I was so new. I was like, oh great, this mainnet thing. Let me just stock up on EOS. I got 100 EOS.
It's going to $100, so you'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, and guys, and I gotta tell you, I've kept every single one of those airdrops from the Genesis block of EOS. They're all completely fucking worthless.
Same.
None of the projects made it.
Gonna
Not-
ride these bags down to all-time lows.
Not one. Guys, don't ever do Genesis airdrop stuff. It's not worth it locking up your money. You're traders. If you've got like this inside information, inside scoop or something like that, then
Keep
I
it to
guess
yourself.
yeah, yeah, it's one thing to do because it's one thing to do like a sign up where they just airdrop you money or something like that. Yeah, okay, fine. You know, that's basically free money. But look what happened with XRP. For everybody who locked up their XRP for that Spark token, guess what? I mean, I almost never. I told you guys. I told you
It's
what was
like
going to happen. Day of, boom, price drops. Everybody's down 33%. If you just held on to your money and just bought the Sparks token when it came out, you would have been better off.
yeah, and it's almost like there's guys in a room somewhere like, well, let's do this again. Like, well, I think everyone's onto it. I don't think they are. Like, it happens every time. But nope, this is gonna be different.
People are hungry, right? They're hungry for airdrops. They're hungry for up-and-comers and potential freebie tokens, and that's just the price some of us pay, I guess, to get in on those. All right, I think we're kind of caught up here. I am keeping track of everybody's requests, as I said, so we would be, we're going to be ready. Agency definitely piling in a few more comments regarding the dollar. I almost wish we had like a sideshow just with Agency in here, because he has a lot of interesting thoughts on the markets, very very interesting things that sometimes are a little unorthodox to us in the Bitcoin bull and the precious metal bug space. Agency does bring up across some interesting ideas. Like he says here, the system in reality is dollar starved right now, and repatriating some of those US dollars, I guess he means in foreign banks, would help solve some of our deflationary issues. Yep, indeed. The agency was talking about this in the Discord this weekend, that in fact there might be a bit of a dollar shortage in the system, and really that's gonna be the precursor for the dollar run that we're gonna have.
Well, yeah. It makes sense that there's a dollar shortage right now. Consumer debt, consumers have been decreasing their debt, and we know that money is only created in the United States by the issuance of debt. So the less debt there is, the less money there is to go around. And then of course, as people end up defaulting on their debt, that's also going to cause a crunch as companies write this off their balance sheets. And then if stock prices go down, well, those asset prices are often, and housing prices, they're all locked up in collateralized debt obligations that people still sell and stuff like that. So prices up. It's going to be a huge thing.
It's a domino effect.
It'll be a thing. I don't know what it's going to look like. I would not consider myself a macroeconomics expert yet by any means. I'm still just a student like you guys. But these things are all interconnected. Like I show you guys every day here when we do charts and stuff like that. You look over here. This is affecting that thing. This is affecting this other thing over here. You know, news effects might affect one location, which will affect a different market and a third market, you know, kind of tertiary to it.
Indeed. Okay, we are kind of caught up. I have a lot of requests stored on the sign here. We're going to get into those very shortly. Let me see here. Yes, Mr. Ether did clarify the Binance question, and he says that they're still having issues trading on isolated margin, but spot trading is working fine on Binance. So some of the margin, I guess, markets are still having troubles, but spot trading is back up and running. And MacW says, I think the USD will come back to the USA from other countries. That's when the problem starts. Potentially, but I guess we'll see about that. Okay, I got all of these requests here. I got them all saved. I'm going to let Alex, you ready to go back into it?
Yeah, sure. Let's look at it.
All right. We're going to be looking at XRP first, or?
Well, I wanted to, I believe it was December 11th or December 12th when the Sparks airdrop happened. And you can see for the next several days, it's just down. It loses about how much value right here? So I after EOS, I never ever participate in these kinds of airdrops anymore because this shit happens every time. No staking airdrops. Not
Yeah,
gonna
it tells you something if you got to lock it.
Yeah. Locking is how you create bag holders. Essentially, proof of stake is a system where if you're a bag holder, then you get to have responsibilities on chain. So it takes out circulating supply and stuff like that. In a way, proof of stake can be good for price if it's like a solid project and stuff like that. But
good ecosystem of
all
people
you're
locking it up.
doing is becoming a bag holder when you go to stake something for an airdrop or something like that. You better have a secure, long-term, fundamental belief in a project to stake anything in this market for any period of time, due to either hackings or price fluctuations. Like, what's the point of staking something for a 15% a year return when it decreases in value 40% during that time? Congratulations, you lost. You lost like 20-some%. I don't want to do the exact, but.
And that's another thing, that you mentioned that is important. If you are looking at this as an investment, a long-term thing to where you believe in the project, that's a different story. But trading it is a whole different thing. Trying to, like, these things, it's most of the people that I saw do this Spark thing, at least from the general chat and everything, are people that are new to the space that think XRP is going to $1 tomorrow. Like, that's not investing.
Well, we certainly had one person at least who thought price was going to $1 very quickly.
No, for sure.
But I think, the sound of it seems tempting. You don't think? XRP is an older token, so it doesn't seem like it's not as volatile as, say, I don't know, Graph token. I just want to pick something that's also been pumping, and like if it has a pullback, I'm sure it'll be certain, like it's volatile. But XRP it is down 20-some% in those couple days, so these are still very volatile assets, people.
Oof.
I think all these DeFi charts look very rough in this spot. Meta might not necessarily be bad here. It really depends. If we get this, we could retest the lows here, and then it might be a good pickup. Right now, it looks awful. If we close like this, we've got a bullish engulfing candle on comp. Uniswap token just kind of distributing here at the point of control. YFI, they're just kind of retesting its highs, which, this is not unheard of after a parabolic move. Bitcoin did something like this, where it broke down, it retested the high, and then it broke down even further. In fact, it retested its highs over and over and over and over and over and over. As we kind of just bounced on the way down. But we could see new lows in the DeFi market. We could retest our lows, and it would not be unheard of. Like as I keep saying to you guys, look at Ren here. Look at this. I don't want to take this long. I want to take this short. Just looking at this. It's DRX. Ugh. So we distribute here, up thrust above distribution, more distribution, breakdown from the point of control.
Looks like an inverse. Not an inverse. A head and shoulders there, just with those wicks.
Nice head and shoulders. This certainly doesn't feel very bullish right here.
When I look at that, yes, it is starting to hold above that trend line, but that looks like it's going to dump to me.
Yeah, essentially, if we don't hold above this trend line, then it's bearish. Curve. Ugh.
Curve into the downside.
Yeah. It's so rough. This is a. There we go. So retest of our lows, most likely here. AVAX looks like it's just going to make new lows. Dot does not look weak here, but it doesn't look particularly strong. Unfortunately, we don't have more data to work with because they split their coin. Ugh. Link. Shorts back on, guys. Where's that baseline? Yeah, boys, shorts back on at the end of today. We're going back in. We're shorting Link again. I know this one kind of hurt. We're doing it again.
We're doing it
Not
again.
letting this one get away. I feel it. Look at that. That's weak. We're underneath the weekly baseline. We can't break this resistance. Boom, boom, boom. Soul. Now we gotta turn the baseline back off. Retesting its lows here. This one could have potential to reverse. This does not look terrible. Got to make sure we hold these lows. But if we start to break up at all, that might look pretty nice. Let's just continue on this. No. Okay. Band, much like Link. Oh, that's so ugly now. It looked so good the other week. Remember this week? Oh, Band looked good there. We were like, oh, we can totally take it back up into this area. Now,
No, it's so hot.
Yeah.
About to get the
Band
cross under
looking
too.
pretty flaccid here. Serum.
That looks terrible too. Just can't get over that resistance.
Gotta at least retest these lows, I think. As long as it's below this resistance, I don't want it, man. Sushi. Uh-oh. Well, we haven't broken this yet. But it certainly doesn't look good. Certainly doesn't look good. And if you draw from the wicks, then we can do that. And that looks even worse. Swerve. Swerve out of the way of this one, guys.
Swerve.
Winks. Don't wink at me. Don't even look at me, Winks. Ave. Ooh. Ave getting out of here.
3 in a row you've done. Very
Thank
good with
you.
the quips. Very punny today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Have
I'll be
a
here
nice
all
day.
evening, ladies and gentlemen. Remember to tip your wait staff. Yeah, guys, these all look really terrible right now. They made new highs.
Bearish
They-
divergence,
they-
breaking out of their trends. Like these all look very bad. Like
Yeah, DeFi had a great run and then a nice correction run, and and then a correction from the downtrend. I think we've got another leg down on DeFi.
and if it closes like that, it's not much data, but there's definitely bearish divergence there on that last chart you were looking at.
Yeah. And like all the other market charts, we're starting to get weekly sell signals on these. Weekly sell signal. Probably weekly sell. If we just close down at all, this will cross under here for us. So, weekly sell signal. You guys are catching me. Look, weekly sell signal. Sell, 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 sell. Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah. Look, sell, sell.
Rep holding strong. Rep's definitely holding stronger than others, but it's still.
This feels like an exit pump.
That is quite the pump.
Think about it, guys. So you see this consolidation area. We see this local point of control. Price breaks down, and we move back up to retest it. dump a bunch of volume up here, and then likely continue and retest our lows, which would be totally normal, retesting a big low like this. So I think 2020 might go out with a bang here, guys. Every market is putting up a sell signal as of today. If the markets, if they could recover, we've got 4 more days on traditional markets, 6 more days on crypto markets for us to recover in this spot. But these charts all look like crap right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just inescapable. Why don't we look at some chart requests?
Absolutely, I think it's about time for that. Alright, before we do, since we're getting into hour number 2, I'm just going to quickly change the playlist up. We're going to get a little more energy through here. Just going to make a quick adjustment. Here we go. Maybe turn down the music just a touch. Okay. Let me start at the bottom of the request list, and let's see if we can get some alts in here. I think we covered this one already. Let's see here. What do we got next? Yep, did that one too. And here comes the first one from Peckham. He says, how's that rev, Alex? What's REVV? Let me take a quick look at REVV.
All right.
Rev token, yeah.
Daily sell signal.
Yeah, looks like it's mostly available on Uniswap.
With the data that I have available, I think it looks healthy. We have here an ascending triangle. We break above it. Maybe pick it up on a retest right around maybe 30 cents or so. Because this is not like a exit all, all, cancel all orders, sell signal or something like that yet. If we break back below 30 cents though, for any significant time, then I'd probably be out. So,
Yep.
Yeah, keep your eyes on this trend line. Make sure we don't go below it. If you're already in it, then congratulations to stay in it until this trend breaks, then I'd be out. And you wait for a close of that, because as you can see, we can still wick below it. You don't want to get scared out.
Yeah, currently under 4 cents. It's down about 8% in the last 24 hours. And in case you didn't know, this is kind of new to me. I haven't heard of Rev before. It's only got about an $8 million market cap, so still a very, very small token. And according to this description of it, I wasn't aware of this. Rev is the main utility token and in-game currency of the branded motorsports game produced by Emimoca Brands, including F1 Delta Time and an upcoming title based on MotoGP intellectual property, with the third title being announced in the coming months. So Rev is being leveraged as a cross-title utility and the driving force. Yep. And the driving force behind the ecosystem of play-to-earn model. Very interesting. So apparently, I guess a token is coming to a few of these motorsports, some of these Formula 1, MotoGP video game titles. I mean, it'd be super interesting, especially if they're like officially licensed, products that are going to introduce this token. But very cool. This might be one of the first video games we see that introduces.
You enjoy racing games, don't you, Jack?
I do. I'm not super hardcore into any of the super sim games like iRacing or Sim Racer. But this looks like a great way to, because those have very dedicated, loyal, hardcore racing fans in them. So maybe this play-to-earn model is something very cool. And a sign of things to come to the gaming world is going to be game tokens like this that are, again, meant to have a cross-title utility, right? So I'm suspecting that eventually you're going to see, the EA Sports games going to bring out something similar where, you're going to play NHL 2020, just call it NHL 2000. You're going to collect your credits for FIFA 2000 while you're playing it, all right? That's probably the last time I played one of those titles, but shows my age.
Hey, I'm a big fan of the NHL hockey game.
I don't know. I'm still waiting for my MMO coins to take off in price. So all the gaming tokens, I harbor deep suspicion about. Like, why can't people just use Bitcoin and Ethereum for in-game transactions and stuff like that? Once you're in a digital environment and you gatekeep using a digital token. It's like, well, why can't I just use another digital token? It's fucking digital.
Yeah, and like as soon as you get it, you can swap it on an exchange somewhere. So
Yeah,
like,
it's the same
okay.
reason why I think BAT token isn't going to make it, even though I think the Brave browser is awesome.
Mhm.
Why? There's no reason that people have to be tipped in BAT. They could be tipped in Ethereum and Bitcoin. And in fact, it'd be way easier for everybody if we didn't have to have this extra token. But, you know, of course, that would break the business model for the BAT token, which is how the Brave browser company is making a whole bunch of money and stuff like that. But all you have to do is fork the software and then just swap out what sort of addresses it has in it. And boom, you've got a browser that people will actually want to use for that feature. I mean, after all, Opera just added crypto wallets and stuff like that. So the other browsers are behind.
They're on their way to it. Yeah.
They're on their way. So it's only a matter of time. So
Indeed.
that,
Right.
I hope that makes sense as a critique of Rev as a token model.
Yep, hopefully that covers a few of those, but let's move along into the next one. Now this one is also, go figure, a meme coin of the day. This one's trending today, and these are two sports tokens, I guess in a similar vein to the motorsports tokens we just discussed. This one comes from Ruben Souza, and he asks us to take a look at the PSG and the Juve tokens, JUV.
Those are the two
Any
that
good?
came out on Binance today.
Yes, so the best of my understanding, these are both football clubs in the UK. I think one's a French club, the other one obviously is Juventus, an Italian football club. So I guess they've released their own fan tokens.
I don't know, man. It's a few hours old.
Just too damn soon.
Yeah, I would say it does not look as good as Graph Token did that day. This looks more like people are getting dumped on right now than people are buying stuff. I know that people have actually been there was a staking pool for BSG and Juve that Binance started last week on the 15th. I almost joined it. In fact, I should have, looking at the price of some of these coins. But there's actually a lot more people that already have tokens to dump on the market than you might think because of that. Let's look at PSG. Oops. Are you looking at it? Yeah, these charts are the same.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's too soon to tell, but I mean, I don't know. We could retest the high on this. This is looking like we kind of retested this right here. Get a little
Descending channel breakout.
Yeah, something like this. I don't know, man. They're just
too new. They act very unorthodox when they're this new. I mean, especially with all the FOMO coming into the market, and you see other ones draining out right now. This thing could do just absolute wackadoodle things. Who knows?
Yeah. Does this mean that we've broken the trend? Maybe. What does that look like?
Kind of looks like it there.
Yeah. Okay, so break of trend here.
Still hovering above that old support though, or old resistance. So that's the thing to keep an eye on.
Agency in the live chat mentioned that Kilauea just erupted. I believe that's a Hawaiian volcano, one of the most active on Earth. Yeah, he's asking if we can put it up on the live stream. I'll take a look at it. I just have a live stream up now. It doesn't look super exciting. Just see a lot of smoke coming from there. I was expecting to see, Hawaii washed over in lava with how much you're hyping it, bud. But we'll certainly consider it. Okay, let's move into the next one. Mr. Ether says, PSG by every 50% drop. Yeah, every 50% pullback. Accumulate your Pierre Saint-Germain tokens. Hey Alex, a newbie question from PMCL93. Could you walk us through what makes up the daily sell signal? For example, on Rev, you called it in seconds. What are you looking for? Fisher, Doji, Star, Volume?
For Rev,
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure you're looking at time transformation on these, but
Yeah, I'm just looking at time transformation. That's the daily sell signal right here.
The crossover.
Yeah, so
Cross
I mean,
under,
it's
sorry.
just a sign that we're gonna do more of what price does, up and down, up and down, up and down. It's like we went up, now we're probably gonna go down, then we're probably gonna go up, and then we're probably gonna go down.
Yeah, your oscillator is telling you that you're getting a cross under.
Yeah, that's all I'm looking for here. As far as like when I put up sell signals for the group, in those cases we have, for an actual signal rather than like a prognostication.
Mm-hmm.
We look to see if we're above and below the daily baseline. If we are above the daily baseline, we only look for longs. This is the green and red line right here. If we're below, we only look for shorts. There we go. Above the baseline, below the baseline, above the baseline. So we've got a few indicators here. We've used an oscillator. This gives us directional bias and entry and exit signals for initial, for both trending and reversals. We have a momentum and volatility confirmer right here. This is WADA ATAR, but there are other volatility and other momentum indicators you can use. This is kind of a 2-in-1. That's why we kind of like it. This rising explosion level right here shows you volatility. Volatility is increasing. This momentum shows you if you have enough momentum, if it's above the explosion level and the dead zone, that lets you know you have enough momentum. But you want to like have another signal. So you're like, okay, we're above the baseline right here, and we've got our trending signal because the oscillator is above 0, and WADA TAR is saying that we've got everything. So let's buy here. And it's like dun dun dun. Okay, great. And then we've got a sell signal right here, and so time transformation is telling us to get out of the long. And so this is more of a take profit signal. This is not a short signal because we don't short above the baseline. We only short below the baseline. So hopefully that is a nice, quick, and dirty introduction. I don't want to go into it too long. We have chart requests and stuff to go into.
Mm-hmm.
What now, sir?
All right, let's move into the next one. PMCL, I hope that answered that question. Let me move in here. MacW asked earlier, I want Tesla shorts, and everybody else who's still standing patiently by. I'm halfway down my request list. We'll be getting to yours very soon.
Speaking
Not
of which,
quite there yet. But if we broke below this daily baseline and we got this sell signal right here, as you can see, not quite there yet. We got to wait until maybe the end of today. If we continue closing down, if we close up, we could go sideways a little bit more. But this will be a bearish divergence right here. As you can see, we make a lower high on the oscillator while making a higher high on price. It's a bearish divergence, which would make sense right here because this is an ascending wedge. So if the daily gives us a short, then it could be a good time because the weekly is also overextended. And like many other markets, it's going to give us a weekly sell signal if we close down very hard. Right now, we're just trading sideways. We're not there yet. But hey, that's a real curl. We haven't had that since early November. I was talking about Amazon puts last week. Nope, this is still starting to look a little bit more bullish. We're not breaking down in Amazon yet. Maybe it's... I wonder why that is. Maybe if it's because we're going back into lockdowns and lockdowns are good for Amazon?
Maybe, yeah. Gotta get your shit
really
somehow.
Starting to feel like it's going to break up.
Yeah, that doesn't look like it has very much weakness. Very much trading sideways and holding its support.
Yeah. We're above the daily baseline here. Anyway, it remains to be seen. the NASDAQ is a little stronger than the Dow Jones and the SPY right now. But, you know, Tesla had to pull some interesting accounting profits to show a profit for the last accounting practices to show a profit for the last 5 months or 5 quarters. I mean, they had decent sales. They had improved sales, but, you know, with their expenditures and stuff like that. What's next on our list?
All right, MacW, hope that covered the Tesla request. Thank you very much. Next one comes from Andrew. Oh, we covered this one. This is his Ethereum BTC thoughts. All right, let's do this Forex request from MacW, Canadian USD, please. Let's look at the CAD USD.
I'm going to assume that it.
Oof.
I was going to
So
say
this
probably
was the
spike.
US dollars price. Yeah.
Yep.
This is a solid reversal signal on the USD CAD right here. Boom, reversed. So whatever trend, however you want to draw the trend right here, whether you draw it this way or this way, it's broken. We're above the daily baseline. We just need more upside volatility. We might trade sideways down, come up above the baseline, and then drop back down here. But that's a really hard reversal signal right in this spot. No, don't do that. No. Stop. Okay. There we go. Trying to figure out what we bounced off of here. You know, maybe it's not a bounce. Maybe it's just retracement. You know, we're too technically oversold. We come back up, we retest, we continue downwards. What's our monthly signal like? Yeah. Well, I certainly don't want to predict along in this spot. I mean, we're below the monthly baseline. Ugh.
Yeah, that's not looking very strong at all.
Yeah, I would say that even though we had a strong day, most likely the US dollar will continue to drop versus the Canadian dollar.
Yep. Just had a liquidity grab at the Dixie and then it sells off again.
Maybe so, maybe so. What's next?
Okay, moving into the next one. Let's see here. We've got Mike Martin Co. says, I'm new and I'm calling Orchid. Can you take a look for us, please? Yes, Mr. Mike, we can do that anytime. Let's take a look at Orchid.
I don't think that Orchid's gonna sprout anytime soon.
Orchid season, baby. What are you talking about?
Well, nothing to say. Had a big day today.
Whoa. I have some Orchid, but I didn't realize that it did that.
Well, that really sucks. I hope you had some sell orders in.
No, that's kind of what I don't like about Coinbase sometimes, but I don't have Coinbase Pro. That's my fault.
Yeah, I would suggest to you that right now this is ugly. Where's the follow through? Yeah, it's got sold into really hard. Look at this. It's like someone had a bunch of sell orders all set up here and just. This looks like almost like a pump and dump.
Interestingly enough, it will end up being a full signal for me today on the 13 EMA. So we'll have to see by the end of the day. It is a little overextended, but yeah, I don't like that price absorption.
Yeah, I'd stay out of Orchid, man.
Okay, moving along. Hopefully it answered Mr. Miller? Martin. Mr. Martin, thank you for your request on Orchid. Moving along. Mac W also asking about Orchid, but he's also asking about Augur, and they're good when BTC is dumping. So he's observing that Orchid and Augur seem to do well on BTC dumps.
Damn baseline. I mean, it hasn't done that good. This BTC dump.
It looks like the same thing happened there that's happening with XT today.
Yeah.
So that goes to show you that you don't necessarily get followed through after a pump like that. You usually get further downside.
I love the way prices reacted to our dynamic support and resistance here. That feels good.
Oh, the pitchfork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when you set up a new pitchfork, you're always super concerned. Like, is this gonna
Did
work?
I do it right? Did I set it right?
Yeah. There's so much having to eyeball it. But it works. Damn, it works.
All right, how about Oh, sorry.
Let me show you guys a pitchfork I did at the beginning of the bear market. We play this forward. So here's a pitchfork at the beginning of the bear market, okay? Thesis is we fell out of the upwards pitchfork of the previous market because these markets just have large, long-term defined trends. And essentially what a pitchfork allows you to do is to get a sense of the median trend, the price is following, the price oscillations around the trend, and look for buying opportunities in the lower part of the pitchfork, selling opportunities in the upper part of the pitchfork. So, how well was this pitchfork obeyed? Did price follow this? Well, let's see. Because you can play these things forward. So I made this in May of 2018.
By golly.
So as we can see, price is really attracted to the median trend line. That's great. Price should be. It's like the average of the trend. Like this is the real trend. And then there are the market cycles that happen within the trend. Let's play it forward some more.
Come right up out of it.
And the moment we break it, what happens? Bear market over.
It's a new trend.
Yep. New trend, folks.
Oh, March.
Now you guys see why I have made this. This is my new effort at making a pitchfork that's going to last for the rest of this market cycle.
Our lives.
Well,
you hope.
Yeah.
But it is very good to see that we're above the median line.
Yeah, I love how price has reacted on the daily to our median line right here. See, it just kind of hugs it. It's like, oh, median, I love you so much.
And also why you're looking at that 19K range for a pullback, because it would be right where you'd expect.
Yeah. So we're just keeping an eye on the pitchfork right now, guys. It's I wouldn't really call it validated yet. It's certainly I like how it obeyed the lines after we made them. Like, I didn't do this after this part. So we'll see. We'll see. Just.
All right, heading into the next one. Next comment comes from B-Flow. He says, "Can you check out the smoke perp? Question mark. Yeah.
I don't know.
He's been a joker. Smoke perp, guys. It's not real. He's just saying smoking that perp.
You just can't. If there's a banana perp, there is spaghetti. There's pasta. Yeah, you cannot. You can't joke about that without putting a /s, man.
Yep. Okay, moving along. Mr. Ether, this one's for real now. He's asking for UMA, USDT, please.
Okay. Right now, because of the way the rest of the market is looking, this feels like it's just kind of distributing the way Band is and Link is and all these other things. It made this beautiful new high. Whoa. Okay, I'm missing some data right here. Yeah, this feels like we've broken the uptrend, but we're still trading sideways. I would wait for a larger pullback on UMA for right now. Then again, this is the 80% pullback that we talk about. For now, I would say that it's still a little bearish with this break of trend and our oscillator not currently giving us any signal. I would just hold off. Yeah, grab a baseline and wait for like a good strong signal.
Alright, Mr. Ether, hopefully that covers it. Let's move into the next one. We still got quite a few requests to get into. Currently, how long have we been going? Hour and a half, good stuff. Okay, Dark FTL, I know you wanted this pretty badly, and I think you might have asked for it last week and we didn't get into it, but Dark FTL, here it is. Can you take a look at NMR Numenaire, please?
Sure. Yeah, looks like crap. Yeah, this just looks pretty rough right now, man. For right now, we just don't have a signal. I would maybe look to pick it up near this consolidation area down here. And then if we broke lower, that would give you an opportunity to kind of dump it near the spot also. But for right now, we just don't have any buy signals to speak of. We're even putting a top below zero right here on our oscillator. Starting to get a wad of signal, but we're below the dead zone. So for right now, NMR is not there. Pick up.
Okay, hopefully that covered. Hold on, Dark FTL just came through with a question. Should I wait for it to something up before I sell? I think he means go up before I sell. So he's looking to maybe get out of his Numenaire position. How would you advise him on exiting it? So should he wait for the pump?
Wait for the pump.
That is such a tricky question. When did you enter, man? How long? What's your time horizon? What are you? How much of your portfolio is in it and stuff? There's a lot of questions that go into answering something like that. I would say, if you don't believe in it enough to hold on to it, like right now where it's retesting a low, just get rid of it, man. Because these alts are really volatile. Just stick to Bitcoin. I don't know why you're...
He went into it early December, he says. Where is he at from early December? Did he catch that whole...
Well, you're just kind of underwater here.
And underwater?
Yeah, man, I would just dump it and take your lumps. You should have had a stop loss. And if it hasn't hit your stop loss, then I would wait on your stop loss, assuming you have a trade thesis, which you may or may not.
Looks like he averaged in around $30. Well then, I think Alex has said what needs to be said. Okay. We ready to get into the next one? Are you still kind of gathering your thoughts? Okay, moving along. Here we go. Crypto Caveman, he asks about, hey, if you got a second to answer, Jack, do you think VPN servers helps, and should I get one again on my computer where I access my exchange accounts? Would it actually prevent anything significant, or just slow down the internet for no reason? No, I do think you need a VPN, and you should be surfing the internet full time on it all the time. It does not slow down the internet significantly, at least if you connect to somewhat local servers. And if you have a decent VPN provider, you get something that's paid. Sorry, say again?
What if you're streaming?
Honestly, a majority of the streams I've hosted are through the VPN. It works fine. Sometimes VPN servers do crash midstream, so I turn it off simply to avoid having the stream kind of take a dump in the middle of it. But generally, my VPN connection is extremely reliable. I'm even very confident to stream through it. And I do a little bit of gaming on it too. I know gamers are like super hardcore about their pings and their network performance. Honestly, I'm fine even gaming through VPN. VPN works like a charm. I do route through local servers, and I'm pretty close to my VPN port, so my gateway. So personally, I think VPN is extremely important. You got to remember, when you don't use a VPN, even though your traffic is encrypted, your ISP can probably still see which domains you're dialing, what sites you're visiting, all that data they're aggregating, and they're probably selling to third parties. So if you do want to have privacy, if you don't want your providers knowing where you're looking on the internet, that's a good idea. Beyond that, use a closer server teed up. Gotta unplug your Chromecast. Otherwise, it eats up your bandwidth. Personally, I have a very robust connection, so I find that even through the VPN, it doesn't really stress it out. But realistically, if you're privacy oriented, it's pretty much critical to have a VPN on at absolutely all times. Much less, no different than if you're using an exchange. If you're on the exchanges, you definitely want to have a VPN on, whether or not you're trading from a okay jurisdiction. No, you still want to maintain your privacy, and you never know when your ISP is going to sell your exchange browsing history to the revenue agency, right? So I know it seems like a pretty distant take, but no, I think Crypto Cave, if I'm not mistaken, you're in Canada. We got high-speed internet here, and our VPNs are pretty damn quick. So, full-time VPN, you buy one plan, and you can distribute it across all your devices. You can have VPN running on your phone full-time, on your computer. If you download any stuff that you shouldn't be, that stuff too should not be, your ISP should not see that type of traffic either. So protect yourself. Always use a VPN, guys. It's pretty much mandatory in today's internet. Otherwise, the NSA is probably, watching every move you make on the internet, whether it's encrypted traffic or not. Let's see here. Okay, I think that covers Crypto Caveman's question. I think there's not much more that can be said about that. Let's hop into the next one. Back to the requests. Okay, we covered this one. This was about daily sell signals. MacW, I found a new privacy coin, R. Can we have a chat about it? All right, maybe Alex can throw it up. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's a Chartex coin. I think would be ideal. All right, Alex clearly already knows about R. It's a pirate coin. I hear my personal takes. I'm not sure if he's asking so much about the chart, but we'll certainly have Alex give his thoughts on the chart. In general, on the coin, I don't know too much about it, but I hear it's a very solid project.
How many R's does this have?
A triple R. Oh, it's not on here. Then hold on. Let me dig up. Let me dig up exactly where Pirate Chain is available. So we're all on the same page here, guys.
Oh, it's on HitBTC. Interesting,
HitBTC.
It's on HitBTC, but not.
Interesting. Maybe it's not an ERC token in that case.
Ugh.
Yeah, I don't know too much about it.
What's the market cap? Look how far that moves.
35 million.
Wow.
Yeah, I would suggest to you that this is a pump and dump scheme.
You're gonna make
It
off.
does not look organic.
Yep, looks a little pump and dumpy. See what happened here. Oh, somebody connected to voice and bumped everything down. I can fix that. Yeah, that doesn't look too pretty. I wouldn't necessarily go into that willy-nilly, but I've heard okay things. I know a pretty trustworthy whale I talked to in the space. He said he's told me in the past that R is pretty legit, and I should be looking into it. So, do your research, guys. Don't know too much about it beyond that. Any further thoughts, Alex?
You know what's fun for me? I just like typing in random letters and seeing what coin names pop up so I can take a look at them. Ooh, yeah. A lot of volume coming in here. It's interesting. Something to look at. I just like going through different charts. You guys know me. What's our next chart? What am I supposed to look at? Correct me.
Absolutely. Let's get into the next one before we deviate too far from the flow. Next one comes from Yongjeon Lee. Did he go into GRT yet? Sorry, just joined. No, welcome to the channel, Mr. Lee. And yeah, GRT I think is on the top of many people's minds today. This is one of the hottest tokens of the weekend. It 10x'd over the weekend since its debut. Very, very hot. Shoutouts to Mr. Ether. He made a good little bag off of the movements on GRT this weekend. Now everybody probably wants to know where to buy.
Very strong trend here. Break of trend. I think I'd like to see this come down and retest maybe. Oh, this is F. Okay, that's what I'm looking at wrong. Okay, this is the wrong one. DA44A7. Okay, this is the one. Okay. Trend is less as apparent here as it was on the... There we go. I'm not sure where a good area to look for a pullback is. I suspect here or here, somewhere in this area. So maybe right around somewhere between 30 cents and 25 cents is where I'd look to pick it back up. Right now, we're just overextended.
Can you draw a fib replacement with ChartX, or?
Of course, yeah. Whoops. Well. Okay, so if we get a pullback to the 618, that's right around 35 cents. Let's say we wick down into 30 cents. And then if we get a pullback all the way to 786, that's 24, 25 cents area right here. So,
Yep, good range to average maybe your long in or purchases in there. Mr. Ether does ask, what's 80%? Can you measure move from the top to the to an 80% retrace? Where would that put us? Oof.
which would retest essentially this area as support. I wouldn't mind it. I'll pick it up at 15 cents.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, its market cap is almost $1 billion. It may be overextended. I guess we'll see. What's next?
Okay, hopefully that covers it. Let's move into the next one. Here we go. This one comes from... we just did that one. PMCL93 asks, can you revisit Fetch AI? Are you familiar with that one, Alex?
Yeah.
What's the ticker of Fetch?
Oh no, this doesn't look good at all anymore.
Nope. Swing failure.
Yep. This is like a lot of the other coins where last week when it was here, it's looked incredible, right? On the 3-day, it's fantastic. On the weekly, it's also really good. But, that hasn't really played out. So we will see how things fare from here. It's possible we just get another bounce off of this local point of control, but that seems unlikely because we have these three tops right here.
Is
and lower high.
Is this a trade we took in the group by any chance, or?
No.
Okay,
this is what we talked about on the show.
Gotcha. Just wondering if it was a trade we took or just a
Nope.
a
Not
coin.
one that's popped up for me for sure.
Understood. Okay.
And
Fetch.
this is also resistance here and here. So it makes sense. I remember we were talking about how a lot of them have traded up and then just kind of trading sideways at this level. So this is another coin that's doing that. Okay, what's next?
Okay, that's Fetch AI coming from PMCL93. Thank you for the request. Moving into the next one. This one comes from Crypto Rick. Could you have a look at the BNB chart, please?
Sure.
Binance, which Mr. Ether, I think, just requested as well.
All right. So looking at BNB on the daily, this really feels like we become oversold. We came back up and retested support as resistance. And now we're breaking back down here. Look at BNB perp. It's almost hard to imagine that we would break down from here because we've got this nice 3-day break of resistance and weekly break of resistance. So BNB may get continuation here. Currently, we don't yet have a bear sell signal. But just keep your eyes on this. If we look to bounce at all from this spot, that's when I would long and be like, okay, BNB is ready. Because right now, this still feels like we'll retest the low. But this was a nice reaction. This was a nice reaction.
Considering how that reacted, what does exchange coins look like?
Exchange coins are doing better than the other basket coins.
Yeah.
The Uniswap coins, Dragon, DeFi has recovered quite a bit today. It was down over 6% earlier, but these things all sort of feel like they may break down.
Things are looking a little wavy by the end of the month. Maybe some profit taken by the end of the year. Probably some people deeply in profit that want to do a little Christmas shopping. They got to cash out some of their profits. Now's the time to do it. Things are looking pretty frothy. Could be a good time to take those profits and buy your significant other a nice little something this year.
Yep.
Okay, next one or?
Next one.
Okay, Bob the Builder in the chat goes on saying, yo, what is this song? Jack, I need your playlist. Whoever playlist this is, it's fire. Bob, I appreciate the comments, but this is actually, Epidemic Sounds, royalty-free, copyright-free music. This is the only music that we can safely play on the stream.
Some would say Epidemic Sounds. Yeah, boy.
Yeah, son. Epidemic Sounds. No, this is not my personal taste in music. I actually, if I'm gonna listen to the royalty-free stuff, I do like the jazz we play in the first hour. It's relatively, easy listening. It's pretty chill. But who called us out here? I think Ivan X called Bob the Builder out, saying quite the opposite for my taste. Was about to make a comment how terrible the music is, but held myself back. So I know we can't please
Thanks.
everybody. Music is, you know how it is. But we got to clear up the dead air sometimes. And royalty-free music is just the way we do it. Otherwise, these streams will get taken down for playing the good stuff. All right. So as much as I wish I could play something else, this is the playlist I have to work with, gentlemen. But that covers it. Let's move into the actual request next. MacW asked for Doge. Oh, God, you guys have really screwed me up. I just call it Doggy Coin, but let's do Doge,
Doge.
please.
You mean we've corrected you is what we've done.
You've corrupted me is what you have.
By the way, Matic here looking really awful. Look at this, guys. I mean, this is just one big distribution area. I wonder if Matic is just all one big scam.
It's a stable coin now.
Yeah. I'm sorry, what were we supposed to look at? I got distracted by the ugliness.
No, where is this one? Is a request for Doggy Coin, aka Doge,
Yep.
aka Dodge. If you can't dodge it, ram it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the way you should play it, but
This feels like a nice reaction off the bottom in this spot. I like it. I like this as a reversal for Doge Bitcoin. What's Doge USDT look like? Yeah, this is a strong buy signal for Doge here.
Doge does it again. Gonna start seeing the shit perp go nuts, are we?
Maybe. Yeah, this looks really good, guys. Doge looks very good here.
Yeah, MacW describes it as the breakout level currently. Damn, those kiddies that bought in on the TikTok campaign, they're getting the last laugh after all.
No, they're still underwater.
No, they're way underwater.
Oof.
And if anything, on the 24-hour, that's just popped up and touched your 200 moving average and selling off. So, I mean, it does look strong for now, but you just have to see how it closes.
Yeah, we'll see. We don't have any daily signals to take. We should have taken it back here if we were going to.
If I was looking at my system, yesterday would have been the day, and you already hit TP1, so.
Yeah, but really, Bitcoin was stronger during this period anyway. Looking at Doge Bitcoin, it is really only today and yesterday that it would have been smart to be in Doge at all.
Mm-hmm. And these things are almost impossible to call, like when there's such a low sat like this.
Mm-hmm. Okay, guys, let's get ready to finish up. We're in the last couple of minutes of the show.
Is there any news that you wanted to go over specifically?
Potentially. I do want to get through a few requests. In fact, I do got to get one in because if you remember last Friday, we had to cut a few people off, and so I don't want to neglect them today. And this one's from Khalid Hazimi. He says, "Hi guys, I'd like to see your opinion about Raven USDT. I requested it a couple days ago with like an update if possible. So if you could take a look at Raven, and we'll slowly wind it down."
Still bad.
I'm tired of talking about Raven. I feel like I keep warning people away from Raven. Yeah, it looks like crap, dude. It's below the daily baseline. Looks like a baseline bounce short. It's a weekly sell signal. Just get out of Raven, man. I cannot stress this enough. The Raven chart has looked like crap every time we've looked at it for. Just get out, guys. Get out. Get out.
We've talked about it quite a bit.
Yeah,
there will be a time that it gets its pump, but you never know when that is, and you could lose all your value before then.
People requested it this week. People requested it this week. Just get out of Raven. Everybody who's listening to me. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. They might be listening to you because look at the way it keeps selling off.
Yeah.
Get out.
Get out of here.
Maybe it reverses right in this spot. I don't know, but I certainly wouldn't put my money on it. What's next?
Okay. Since I have a series of requests, I'm gonna just name them all, and then Alex, you tell me which ones you want to take. All right. So here we go. We got. No, we did that one. All right. Dime coin. Never heard of it. We have another one coming. TRX Tron. We have a Rose request, and we have. That's a comment.
Same as Raven. Get out of it.
Ola coin.
Yeah.
TRX not doing well.
Yeah,
New lows.
Too low. I would get out of this one too.
Yeah, guys, don't try to catch falling knives. Don't look for reversals. You know that's not how we do it around here.
See, look at this. Point of control forms. We wick up, retest it one last time on the weekly breakdown. Just get out. I'm telling you guys, alts look like shit. They look really bad, all of them. What's next? All right, there was TRX and
there's a couple outliers out there today, but not many.
Comes up, test the point of control. Hasn't broken the trend yet, but I don't think it looks that good. I would be very skeptical of it. For right now, I wouldn't trade this until we got a break up above 60 cents. What's next?
All right, I got Algo on this list. I have Litecoin on this list. I have Ola coin on this list, HOLA, and that kind of covers it. So let me know if any of those you want to cover. Celsius.
Tell me how you feel, Alex, about the comparison to Litecoin and BNB.
I don't feel anything when someone says that. I don't know. I don't think the charts look anything alike.
Well, look at LTC and look at BNB. I disagree. I'm talking about USDT. I'm sorry.
I mean, they're both up over the last week and down today, but I don't think they look anything alike.
I feel like they're positioned pretty similar. I just wanted to see if you had any thoughts on that.
I don't. They don't look anything alike to me. As far as Litecoin, I think it's strong like Bitcoin here. I think we would be looking to buy a pullback here.
Had itself quite the weekend.
Yep. What's next?
Final one, and this is it, guys. Sorry we can't do any more. Celsius USDT coming from Valk Mike.
It's overextended, man. If you're in it, I guess stay in it until you get a break of trend. But
get to the dollar. I like that.
Jesus, man. Yeah, it's just I certainly wouldn't be buying here.
Get out of here. Get to the dollar.
Yeah, I like that comment from agency. Get to the dollar.
Like,
get out. Get out now.
Get out of here. What are you doing? Wow. Raven, get out of here.
All right. Yeah. So I think I'm.
That's it. That's it.
We're
wrapping it.
We've done
We're wrapping it.
Pretty good job for Monday.
Yeah, we got a bang up job. All right, quickly, let's get into the news before we wrap it, guys. We've been going about 2 hours exactly. I'm gonna hop into this window here and do a little quick.
We need to keep it to 2 hours.
I know, but our dear audience wants more. What can I do? These guys like little chirping birdies going more, and I gotta regurgitate all this garbage I troll the internet for. I just complain, but let's take a quick look. All right, so you guys might have heard about this. After advising Elon Musk on Bitcoin strategy, MicroStrategy CEO reveals firm's purchase of 29,646 additional Bitcoin. All right, I covered this right at the beginning of the show. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but the main takeaway is they had 650 million allocated. They weren't sure how much of that they were really going to spend into Bitcoin, and in the end, they decided, you know what, let's just FOMO and spend it all, dump it all into Bitcoin. So they bought an additional, let's see here, I think additional 29,000 Bitcoin. And they did it around the $21,925 mark. So it kind of goes to show you they're pretty confident in Bitcoin hanging above the 20,000 mark. This is support, and they're ready to take it to the moon. This means their total allocation into Bitcoin now works out to about 1.125 billion. Average purchase price of 15,964 per Bitcoin. So they've averaged in, they got $1 billion bag of Bitcoin. They averaged in around 15.9. So basically, anybody who feels bad about buying Bitcoin right now, or wants to buy the next dip around 21 and still feels they missed the boat, listen, MicroStrategy just spent $1 billion, averaging into about the $16,000 mark. So you're probably not going to be too far off. You're not going to feel too foolish once we do rocket from above here. Of course, the other half of the story has to do with the Elon Musk comments. You guys heard about this? Let me see if this article covers it. Elon Musk, I think, made some disparaging comments to Bitcoin. And then, of course, Michael Saylor, which I do think is the MicroStrategy CEO, he says, yes, I would have purchased over 1.3 billion in Bitcoin in the past months and would be happy to share my playbook with you offline, from one rocket scientist to another. So Elon Musk was asking, are such large transactions even possible? Is it possible to even buy $1 billion? I guess he's thinking in terms of, can you take $1 billion off of the order books like that and not blow up the market? I think Elon might not be aware, but big deals like this happen over the counter, OTC desk. There's brokers. There's probably people. They have
someone would take Elon's money for sure.
Yeah, and basically a broker says, I know people, and let me put you in touch with our guys, and they broker a deal. I can imagine the broker who brokered the $1 billion purchasing of Bitcoin for MicroStrategy probably made out like a bandit. So indeed, Mr. Musk, there is a way for these large transactions. I'm sure you just need to get in touch with the broker, and Michael Saylor is saying, I got a guy. So,
and that guy's like, I am so loaded.
If anybody needs to spend $250 million or more on Bitcoin and they're trying to figure out the best way to do it, don't go raiding the order books at Coinbase. Just contact Mr. Saylor at MicroStrategy. They'll hook you up with their guy. Okay, moving along though. Let's not dwell too long on this. The other story, I might have to find the link for this. Let me see if I can find it at AMB Crypto, and that's the Ledger leak. I'm sure a lot of people heard about this. Now,
information.
Yeah, Ledger's database with 270,000 physical addresses, 1 million emails leaked on raid forums. So, a database from the hardware wallet company Ledger was leaked earlier today. The leaked data, which consists of over 270,000 physical addresses, that's, your home mailing address and phone numbers, along with 1 million email addresses, were made publicly available on hacker website raid forums. According to reports, the data in question was stolen during a hack of the e-commerce database back in June. Indeed, that's what I heard when I looked into the story yesterday. So this is technically nothing that new. This is just, I guess, an old hacked database resurfacing. And what we do know is that this is nothing.
It's far worse than they had let on.
That could very well be the case. Now, this has, I think, nothing to do with the database that manages, say, your Ledger Live app. Okay, so your Ledger Live app, you have, you store your coins with Ledger Live. Now, I believe Ledger hosts their own nodes, their own servers that look up look up addresses, look up balances, and all that. And it's possible if they were to compromise that, they'd have a little more insight into, what people's addresses, maybe holdings and positions of people querying Ledger Live and Ledger's servers for that type of data, but that's not the case. What this is their e-commerce website. So if you go to the Ledger website, you can buy a Ledger and other devices, excuse me, directly from them. And I guess what happened is someone breached the e-commerce website, and everybody, I guess, who's bought using Ledger as a portal, their store portal, the storefront, might very well have their stuff compromised. Now, someone asked earlier in the chat, I don't remember who, but they asked, is there a way to see if your data was compromised? I think there probably is, but not off the top of my head. But here's the thing. If you ordered your Ledger directly from Ledger, okay, it's likely that, yes, they have your data. And when you bought your Ledger, you gave them your email, your phone number, and your address to where they mailed it to. Now, this opens you up to mostly phishing attacks. So if you're one of these vulnerable in this attack, expect maybe unsolicited emails, maybe even unsolicited phone calls coming your way. And remember, these people have your address, your name, your phone number, so they could very well call you and say, hello, Mr. Thompson of 123 Circle Court. We can't help but notice that, our records show your Bitcoin's been hacked. It's very important that you recover your funds right now or move to secure them. Our customer service agent is here to help you. Please give us your private key or go to this website and, enter, approve this transaction, whatever. Avoid that at all costs. Whether or not you're involved in this leak, never ever share your seed phrase. Anybody contacts you for an unsolicited fashion, saying that there is a problem, that they need to secure your account or anything like that, always be extremely skeptical. So that is probably the tip of the day. If you are involved in this, if you're one of the 272,000 Ledger buyers, and 1 million additional users, be extremely, extremely careful. Ledger acknowledged the database has been compromised as a result of the hack. Originally it claimed, this was what Alex was saying, only 9,500 of these things were compromised, but in fact it looks like it totals in the millions now. Massive understatement to say we sincerely regret the situation, take privacy seriously, no financial information leaked.
All right, well, I have to go, dude.
No problem. Log off. We'll wrap up the show without you. But much thanks to Alex for.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you so much.
I'll see you out tomorrow.
Cheers, dude. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yep.
All right. Let me quickly look at the comments, see what the chat is talking about before I. Okay. Bubble says different in USD. More. Yes. People asking for more. Let's see here.
Get a little greedy.
Go look it up on the hacker website. Probably not a good idea. There is a site. Let me find it for you. There's a site where you can type in like your email and see if you were compromised. Let me see if I can pull it up. I can't remember off the top of my head.
We already did look at a link there, T-Dub, and it's likely to be a short at the end of the day. I believe Alex is going to want to call that one.
Yeah, let me hop back into Jason's stream so I don't leave a dead screen behind for everybody. I'll give Jason an opportunity to... Let me have a look here. All right, Jason, I got you on screen, so take him through link real quick. I just want to look something up in the background. I'm going to need a minute.
Well, based on what Alex is talking about, he's looking for a short here. He works off a different system than I do. I can look at what he is utilizing. This is a variant of what he usually uses. But things do not look very strong here for Link at the present moment. The way that things are coiling up, we're still under the 60 hole. Parallax is still down. Likely to get a continuation out of this. For my systems personally, I would not be interested in a Link short, but that's one of the good things about having different analysts, because we both look for different things and we both will catch things that the other won't. So looking at Link, he really likes it for a short here. I'm not completely convinced, but I know that we're going to talk about this later tonight. But yeah, as for now, he is bearish on Link USDT, and I kind of don't have any thoughts right here because you just need to see how the daily closes. Oh, I'm sorry, I was on the hourly. That would be why that doesn't look so good.
Okay.
Okay, never mind. Sorry, I totally see what he's seeing now. But looking at this, this is actually a full-blown signal. The only thing that could be better is if we had a rising explosion level. Parallax is below. Baseline is kind of looking goofy when I add it. Come on, baseline. I'm not sure why the 60 isn't popping up. Sometimes this baseline goes a little nuts, and I'm not sure why. Okay, well, I do know that it's under the 60 hole. I'm not sure why it's being so weird.
All right, Ivan X is asking for dime coin. He says no time for dime request, or you don't do the ones. No, we do ones we've never heard of. That's no problem. I don't mind exploring completely fresh coins to us. With that said, let me just see what market it's on.
It's not on TradingView, so I'd assume it would be on Chardex.
Might be on Chardex, but even I'm having
if we can't find it on Chardex, or
I'm having trouble even pulling up markets on CoinMarketCap. Dude, I'm not too familiar with dime coin.
No. If we can't get it on TradingView or FTX, I don't think that it's going to be worth it to us right now.
You're going to have to give us a little more information. Is this the one with ticker symbol DIM? It's barely on even listed on.
Well, now that I look at Link again,
oh, here's Dungecko. Sorry, go on.
Just wanted to mention this. Now that I look at Link again with my system, I use the 13 EMA. This is also a full-blown signal on mine as well, which actually is curious because you rarely get them both, like the 60 hole short and a 13 EMA. Those are much wider, but I do find it very curious that the 13 usually is much more sensitive. So this going sideways has lined up just perfectly with the 60 hole. I totally agree with him now, and I will definitely probably be joining in on the short because let's see here. Yep, putting our first take profit around like 1144. I think that this level right here will easily be tapped if we continue the same price action that we've been getting. There's been a lot of volatility. We've had quite the pump over the weekend. Don't know whether this is going to hold, but I could definitely still see wicks to the downside. So this link short is looking pretty good here. It's got everything you want. Rising explosion level, got good momentum, TT crossed over, you're below the baseline, everything's there. I mean, that's basically all the best you could hope for. A good back-tested system, and when everything lines up, take it. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but that's part of this game.
All right, that covers Jason's thoughts on Link. With that said, all right, so here's what I got to do next. I'm going to jump back into my other browser here. All right, do confirm if this is the coin you wanted us to look at, but realistically, there's very little to go on. A few markets on it's listed at. Maybe it's a different coin. Might need a little further elaboration, but I'll take a look at that in a little bit. The website I was thinking of earlier, this is back to the security discussion we're having. It's haveibeenpwned.com. Okay, this is run by a very well-respected security expert in the space. So what you can do is you can type in your email right here and then click on Have I Been Pwned, and it will return, has a database of known compromised information on it, and you can pretty quickly ascertain if your email was breached, if someone breached your email, potentially passwords on certain websites, and very useful to kind of get an idea, is your email out there? Is it compromised? Do people, do you have some random site that you logged on many years ago onto and had a weak password for? It might be out there, might be circulating. This is why it's very important to use a password manager. Don't use the same password for more than one website. Use strong generated passwords. And again, password manager really helps. HaveIBeenPwned.com might help you. As far as the ledger leak, I'm not sure if this is going to have that information cataloged. I imagine it could. You might have to go to Ledger directly to find out whether you were involved in that leak. But you know what? You more than likely were, because I'm going to go over here and read a comment I saw from one of our users. Let me just jump back over here real quick. Stand by.
I just wanted to bring this one up. This is one that it just sometimes this is just how these work out. This was a signal that I had the group in, a Myth USDT last Thursday. You see the long signal here. This one was very curious because it was just so much further behind. It seemed like everything was having such a good, like in the USDT, because Bitcoin was doing so well, all of the USDT pairs were rising with it. And mostly every single signal that I got that day was way overextended over the baseline here. So I just decided to only take Myth that day. We did end up pulling 13% out of it, but if you look at it here, we ended up getting stopped out at TP1. But I mean, I'm happy with 13%, but I mean, there was a lot of potential there, but sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. I'm just glad that we were in there for at least that 13%, because if you can't deal with 13%, then you're not going to get very far in this market.
Word.
You got to take, it's not about catching the whole movement, guys. It's about taking little chunks, ninja in and out, making sure that when we do get these big volatile dumps, that you're positioned correctly. So like I've been having a really good month this month, and then over the weekend, the first Friday and Saturday, calls went perfectly. Bitcoin did end up completing the bullish pennant that I put out in market analysis, and then on Sunday got super close to TP1 and then just decided to take a $2,000 dump. I mean, it's all you can do. It sucks, but we were position sized correctly. So now that giant gap of price only took 1% of my trading capital, and now we're gonna move on to the next one. You can never let one take you. One trade will never make you rich, and you should never trade that way.
All right. Let me take a quick look here. All right, I had to make a little adjustment. Sorry, guys, they're wrong. Looks like Alex's mic is still on. No, when Alex left, it kind of messed up the arrangement of the scene here, so just ignore that. I fixed Jason's icon at least. But more importantly, Moonshine Fuel says, now you're giving them your email, and that can be breached. You know what? And T-Dub concurs. He was thinking that too. You guys are both wise. You're both smart. That's probably a good first instinct to have, that, yeah, you're now entering your email to another third party. Now, to be fair, worst case scenario, yeah, you've given away your email, you might get spammed. On the flip side, no, this site is run by a very well respected security expert in the space, so you can have pretty solid confidence that you're not going to just get spammed or have your email data harvested by entering your email here. It really is a valuable resource provided by, again, someone very well respected in the security space. So you're welcome not to use it, and I think there are other alternative sites that also provide similar services, but this is probably one of the most popular. It can give you an idea if you have been compromised on certain sites. And it is an important reminder to always use a different site, always use a password manager. But indeed, you guys are onto something when you have you're to be apprehensive about typing your email in. Let me take a look.
I will mention here, going through, I did some scans while Alex was talking just to see if there's any kind of outliers that are sticking out to me today. And I do find some in the mid-sats that are definitely poising themselves much stronger. If you look at GBT BTC, this one's looking very strong right now, going to give us a full long signal on today. You're going to have to wait till close, but to see if this is too overextended over your baseline to take a full position, a risk position, but definitely looking strong. So let's just check out the USDT pairing of it. Is it not oh, it doesn't even have one. That's curious. I assume that it's looking strong. This is calculated by TradingView, so it would be the exact same thing. Theta BTC getting a continuation long here. You don't necessarily need water, but you are getting it. Theta has looked way stronger than most other coins out here, and if I'm looking at this like this, when I first look at it, I do see an inverse head and shoulders here in a pretty tight channel. So breaking above this would be very bullish, and staying and closing above it like it is today, this will definitely be a full risk position. And PPT is not quite there yet, but it is putting in some interesting price action. It could end up being a close by the end of the day, but if it closes like this, I wouldn't be interested. This looks like a liquidity grab, but a lot of time in the day left. 4 hours. That's a month in crypto. So there are some ones out there today, which is interesting. Yeah, I think PPC was the only PPT. Yeah. So those three are standing out right now. I didn't find anything in the low caps besides Doge right now is doing well. BCPT, this actually will be a full signal in the lower. But historically, I don't like how you tend to see these wicks. So sometimes systems just don't work that well on these low sat ones because you just keep getting wicked out. So I'll look at this at close, but there'll definitely be stronger ones for me to look at. But when you do catch these ones, man, it's totally worth it. That's why it's so important to
it's nice to
assess your risk. You
it's
assess
nice-
your risk and put realistic position sizes, because even with realistic position sizes, this stuff can make you a lot of money.
Yep. It's nice to wake up and check crypto bubbles in the morning and find out that the one coin that went like 40 or 60% up was a position you were in. So that's the kind of stuff we try to catch. But of course, guys, you have to tread extremely carefully. Everybody wants those big Hail Marys.
You don't got to catch them all.
Good. Well said. Okay, T-Dub did say my mic is cutting out. Okay, T-Dub, let me know if my mic is okay. I hope I'm not cutting in and out too much. That would suck if I was cutting out for a good portion of the show. Somebody here making fun of a speech impediment. I don't know if that's mine or Jason's. I wasn't aware either one of us had one, but maybe this guy's just being cheeky. Maybe he's referring to the mic cutting out. I don't know. People, sometimes haters come through and they make inappropriate comments. Let us know if anybody has picked up on any speech impediments. Jason, what do you think?
I don't know what kind of speech impediment I have, but
yeah, I'm not
sounds
sure
like
either.
you have an impediment of being mean.
All right, T-Dub says no, my mic is okay. It's all good. Okay, Back W asks, Proton Mail is good? No. Yeah. Proton Mail is a good one. It's a Switzerland-based email service provider. It's quite basic, but it does the trick. If you're doing, if you're really privacy-oriented, you should really be using a Proton Mail account, and you should even have burner Proton Mail accounts. Maybe use one Proton Mail account for every exchange that you're on. It's a good privacy practice if you're really concerned about your privacy. You got to remember stuff like your Gmails, your Yahoo mails, or whatever of the world. They're relatively private, but if a U.S. court ever ordered Google to give you up, they probably can't. Not to mention, if you're really a major public enemy, I imagine the NSA probably has backdoor keys to read all your email without even going through the courts. So just something to keep in mind, guys, when you use popular stuff like Gmail, your Facebook DMs, your Twitter DMs, that stuff's probably open to the government, maybe even without a court order. Something like Proton Mail, they're very security and privacy oriented, based in Switzerland. It's probably very difficult for the authorities to break into your Proton Mail account and read who you've been DMing. All right, let me see what else we have before I wrap this up. T-Dub says, dude, we're all like family here. Indeed, we are indeed like family here. I really appreciate all the people that come out here every day. We do know all our regulars, and the likes of T-Dub, Mr. Ether, ANCAP Futures, Moonshine Fuel, Mac W. The list just goes on and on. I'm sure you all know who you are. A lot of these names are here every day. We're very familiar with them from agency and onwards. Topher Dowling says, Doggy sounds moronic. Yeah, I agree. Doggy does sound like a pretty dumb coin name, but in the end, we are talking about a pretty dumb coin. And I guess if you think Dogecoin is, somehow the coin is redeemed by calling it Doge instead of Doggy, I really don't know if that gives it any more traction, but by all means, call it Doge, call it Doggy, I still think it's a what we call a shit coin in the space. Hold Bitcoin, guys. Don't be looking for doggies or banana coins or hot dog coins or yams. You
Oh,
know.
come on. Yam 2.0 was good. I wanted to get myself some hot dog coin, but it went to 0 before I could buy it.
Okay. T-Dub says, great little community, even more informative. Of course. Freddy's Place says, I've gotten several texts. Okay, yeah, this is what I wanted to highlight, and this is probably where we're going to wrap it. But here is a perfect example of how the Ledger hack is going to affect you, okay? Freddy's Place says, I've gotten several text messages that my ledger has been compromised and crypto is being transferred out. Funny, I never loaded any crypto to it. So Freddy's Place is an example of someone who probably bought a hardware wallet directly from Ledger, okay, which is a good way to do it because you definitely don't want to buy, never ever use
secondhand used,
never buy a used wallet, only buy some from trusted retailers. Now generally, even if you do buy one that you might think is a less trusted retailer, Ledger has a very specific kind of security setup, you know, where you generate your keys at your first startup. Okay, so generally that's how it works. If you get a ledger where it's like, oh, your device is ready to use, and you don't, and you know, here's your seed phrase in, you know, that's compromised. Never ever do that. Always get a ledger from a trusted retailer and make sure the startup includes generating fresh keys from scratch to avoid these issues. But again, very good example of how we have an individual here who purchased from Ledger. Now, funny enough, they never actually loaded any crypto to it, which I'm sure a lot of people do that. You know, they buy a Ledger because they're told this is a good way to store your crypto, but you know, you kind of waver on doing that. You like keeping your crypto on Binance or Coinbase, so you never really withdraw. But then one day you get an email like this saying, hey, we noticed your thing's been compromised. Go to this link and save your crypto right away. You know, this is the kind of stuff that if you're vulnerable, if your stuff got leaked during the Ledger leak, you're going to be vulnerable to stuff like this. And in this case, this gentleman got a text message, several of them, to his phone, because again, they took your number too. So they're going to hit you on your email, they're going to hit you on your phone. Hell, they might even use snail mail. They might send you a little, you know, note
Pony
from
Express.
Yeah, carrier pigeon, a notification to your home and tell you, listen, you're hacked. You better hurry up and run to this link and you know, tell us your private keys so we can save you. Avoid this at all costs, guys. This is the kind of risks we take, but this is the space we're in. There's money to be made, and that's how it goes. I see a few people were asking about Justin. Justin's doing great. Justin will be back, I think, relatively soon. He has been busy, kind of the, you know, Q4 this year, working on a new house. Right? He bought a house, and I think it needed a bit of work. So I think he just got really you know, busy. Doing the big redevelopment of his house, contractors there around the clock, you know, plus he's got the family and he's got to kind of finish the move. You know, that's a huge undertaking. So I think he just took some time off in order to complete the big move and the big reno. I think he's going to be back soon enough, though. So people like Nikolai Sotev, don't fret. Justin will be back. He'll be hosting the show in no time. Let me see here. What other comments do I have here? S. Hyatt says, same here. I've never used my ledger yet and got the message. Not even unboxed it. Yep, this is what I'm talking about. And see, this shows you how widespread it is, right? You got two people confirming
and how quick
in the
it
chat.
is.
Yep. Two
as
people
soon as they get that
this.
info, they're blasting, man.
Same thing goes for Discord. You know, if you're a part of our Discord community, you're probably used to this by now, much less if you're, you know, even part of other Discord communities. You probably get DMs unsolicited all the time saying, get your free Bitcoin here. You're going to get messages that say, hey man, my Bitcoin is stuck on an exchange. If you can help me get it out, I'll give you, you know, I'll 10%. Give you some. Yeah, exactly. Don't ever anything unsolicited. Do not, you know, don't bite the bait. You might also get people impersonating us, people on the team, Justin, etc. You know, if Justin ever messages you in the middle of the night saying, yo, he's in trouble, he's got to get his Bitcoin off of Binance, can you help him
That's
really
not
quick?
real.
That's not real. We're never going to put you in that kind of position. If you're ever unsure about anything, any kind of contact you ever receive, message somebody like myself on the team. We're pretty well versed in security. We can definitely point you in the right direction to tell you if there's something fishy going on. Valk Mike says, what about MetaMask? MetaMask is a little different. It's not a hardware wallet. It's an extension in Chrome. With a MetaMask, the idea, of course, is you will generate keys when you first set up your MetaMask wallet, and you want to make sure you store those safely. The problem with MetaMask is, first off, there can be impersonator extensions out there. So, you might go onto the Chrome extension store, whatever it's called, or the Google Play, or I'm not sure if it's still on Google Play and the Android App Store or the Apple App Store, but if it is, you got to be careful with stuff like that. Any kind of wallet app, whether it's MetaMask or the Crypto.com wallet or whatever, you got to make sure you're downloading the right app, because there's impersonator apps out there that you'll download them and they'll say, oh, log back into your MetaMask and recover your MetaMask to get started, and you end up giving them your seed phrase, and that's how stuff gets stolen. But MetaMask, the main issue might be is that it's a hot wallet, guys. So if you keep your coins in a hot wallet and your computer gets hacked, it's possible.
They can figure out how to connect to it.
Yeah, the hackers can remotely, launch your Chrome. They can launch your MetaMask. If your password's easily stored, say you keep your MetaMask password, which is separate from your seed phrase, your recovery seed. There's a password that lets you, unlock functionality of it. You might keep that in a text file somewhere on your desktop, right? Hackers will pretty easily find that and be able to get into your MetaMask and empty it. This is why the safest wallets are what's known as cold storage wallets, hardware wallets. These are wallets where you keep your coins in a device that is completely disconnected from the internet and is not easy to necessarily break into, much less remotely. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. T-Dub says, I still have an old school ledger, not even electronic, it's just a USB drive. Okay, not sure which ledger that is. Maybe he means he's got the regular Nano S, and I have the X now that's Bluetooth based. B-Flow says, get a cold card wallet, looks just like a calculator. Okay, let's keep going. Bob the Builder says, if you don't love Jack and Jason's voice, you're crazy. Yeah, I don't know if we got the best, radio personalities, but hey, we're not here to give you...
I'm better on TV.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely... You actually are a bit of a TV personality, aren't you?
Well, thank you, Jack.
You've seen some screen time. You're no amateur.
I'm actually syndicated in Japan, so deal with that.
Oh yeah, he's literally big in Japan. All right.
I shoot a bow with my feet.
Wow. Oh yeah, actually, now that you remind me, but maybe we'll get into that another day. Bob the Builder. Okay, that was his question there.
Yeah, thank you there, Bob, for the super chat. You just said cheaper than a cable subscription. And cheers to that. We try to do our best every day to give you guys the best content that we feel like is relevant. And yeah, we don't get very much for doing it. So
Valk Mike says, I enjoy the stream with you. Thank you, Valk. It's nice to have you here. I think Valk Mike is kind of new to the channel. I haven't really seen that name. And if I haven't, or if I have, my apologies if I'm kind of neglecting to remember you. But yeah, Valk Mike, welcome to the channel. It's nice to have you here. Mac W, my ledger has a turning mechanism for powering it. Interesting.
I think he's making a joke about how old it is, possibly.
Oh yes, it has like the little crank generator, like one of those.
Yeah.
Okay, hilarious.
Trying to get my Bitcoin out.
Hilarious. Let's see here. $5 super chat from Bob the Builder. Oh, thanks, dude. $5 from Bob the Builder, dude. Much love. We're gonna have to.
Were you listening to me? Because I literally just said that.
Did you? Sorry, dude. After 2+ hour marathon on stream, my brain is starting to run out of power myself. You need to turn the crank a little more. S. Hyatt says, well, have Justin a test before we let him back on, just to make sure he ain't rusty. No. Justin is the OG king that made most of this happen.
But that being said, he does have some shoes to fill again, because I think we've been holding it down pretty well.
Yeah, that's for sure. I don't want to disparage Justin at this point, but you guys have set the bar so high. Yeah, it might even Justin might have to bring his A game to keep up with our analysts, because our analysts have just been on fire in his absence. So it's just been doing so good. So yeah, so Valk Mike says it's his first time to the channel. T-Dub asks Justin
Stick
who.
around, you might like it. You might make some money.
Yes, the myth, the man, the legend, as the chat says. See the seeds. Yes. Let me just see. He makes one hell of a commercial. Yeah, Jason does. Jason's been in quite a few commercials, depending, where you are in the U.S. You might have seen his face in
Yeah, you might have seen me on a Subaru commercial. You might have seen me on a MediaCom commercial.
T-Dub, the first ledger, just
and then maybe a Bybit commercial.
Just a thespian at heart, indeed. Midwest, read my 16 personalities, says Jason. Indeed, if you guys haven't taken the 16 personalities test, highly informative. Check that out. Mac
I thought
W,
it was crazy accurate.
Standing on your hands. Oh, how did you fire the arrow? Mac W says standing on your hands.
No, I was actually playing a guy named Matt Stutzman. He's from Iowa. He is an Olympic archer in the Paralympics, and he doesn't have any arms.
So they lopped your arms off for the sake of making this video? That's
yeah,
horrible.
They got me out in the woods hunting a deer with my feet. Very funny.
Well, I think it makes a lot of sense in Japan. I'm not sure if that commercial will go over the same here.
It's not a commercial. It was a documentary about.
Oh wow, even better.
It was about Paralympic athletes, and they needed to make a reenactment of this person hunting in his 20s, and in came armless Jason.
Very cool. You got to tell me how the prop guy set that up later. But Mr. Kobayashi says, you still have time to take profit before the 29th of December, boys. So Mr. Kobayashi is saying the 29th of December.
He's the one who, remember, he was the one who said December 15th, all of the Mt. Gox Bitcoin were going to be sold.
Sell-off day, GBTC shares on grayscale. Okay, so Mr. Kobayashi is predicting a sell-off thanks to the GBTC shares on grayscale. Okay, well, something to look out for, although I'm not entirely certain how much of a sell-off we're going to have, but who knows? That's kind of what happens in January. December turns out to be kind of a top, and January and February we end up kind of entering the crypto winter and pulling back a little bit. So maybe Mr. Kobayashi will be right. Maybe we will see a yes, T-Dub says he's the lawyer for Mt. Gox.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed, he's not probably not, I don't think he's the actual lawyer.
I'm glad if he is, I'm glad he has time to stop and check in with us.
Indeed, I think he's LARPing as the Mt. Gox liquidation lawyer. But if he's the real Mr. Kobayashi, sounds a good dude. Next time you're in town, we'll go for drinks. You tell us all your crazy Mt. Gox, recovering the funds stories. Mac W, that's cool. I know that Olympiad you are talking about. All right, that's cool.
Matt Stutzman.
That's very cool.
Just do a quick Google. He's actually pretty inspiring. The fact that he he gets around just like anyone else and basically uses his feet for everything.
All right, GT Mark 4 joined the chat. Howdy, says GT Mark 4. Mr. GT Mark 4, you showed up just as we're wrapping the show. We've gone nearly 3 hours, so I do recommend you guys rewind. If you're showing up just now, you might have to rewind to the very beginning. Mr. Kobayashi says, I am the real Nobuaki Kobayashi. I don't know.
That's what the real one would say, I think, in caps.
Yeah, in all caps. But
I really am him.
Prove it, bro. You sign a message from the Mt.
Gox
Fund.
Didn't happen.
Yeah, sign a message from the Mt. Gox Fund, or send me a BTC or two to confirm your identity.
Yeah. I will believe you if you send me a Bitcoin.
Yep, exactly.
I won't.
All right, T-Dub's giving us thumbs up. Indeed, guys. The show is going to come to a wrap. Make sure you...
Let's see if we can't get to 50 likes here as we're signing off, guys. We only need 2 more.
Yeah, straight up. Time for the sign-off. I don't have much else to say. We've gone a while. It's time to go grab some lunch.
Yep. This week's going to be interesting, guys. It's still super early in the week. I really think the best play here is to sit on your hands unless you have a great signal, because we could go sideways here. We could keep dumping. We just don't know. We're going into a very uncertain time with the stimulus money coming in, and December usually being a profit-taking month, and all the vaccine stuff, and we just don't know where this thing is going, man. So just make sure that you are risking appropriately. If you get a good signal, follow your system, of course, but you don't have to get everyone. I think that we have a long, long road ahead of us of making a bunch of money. We just have to make sure we don't get greedy in between.
Word, much thanks. Peckham08 says he's Dorian. Not sure that is. Valk Mike, I have to mention Valk. He just dropped us 25. Ron, I believe, is
What is Ron?
Romanian New Lu, I believe, is what Ron is. It's Romanian dollars.
Oh, well,
much thanks.
Much appreciated, my
You
friend.
might have to pick up one of those Romanian beers with that tip. I hear they do okay beer over there.
Oh, Mr. Ether coming in with a 50 as well, saying that he just had to one up Ron.
Had to run up Ron with the.
Hey, I am totally for a tip war if that's what we want to start here.
Yeah, tip war in full effect. Mac W asked for any magic tricks. We'll have to think of some magic tricks for the next channel, for the next stream. You know, we'll find a way to make your wallet disappear. You just got to share your seed phrase with me. Is this your seed phrase? Is this your seed phrase?
Is this your seed phrase?
The real Satoshi's
No.
called Dorian. Come on, dude. Okay. Well, the real Satoshi. And T-Dub says, thank you guys for giving me your time and not asking for anything in return. Of course, this is what we're here for. Valk Mike confirms, yes, very good beer. Yep, Romanian beer. We might have to stop by the beer store today and grab some of that Romanian imported beer here. And who's going to one-up Ether, says Mr. T-Dub. You know what? It's going to be tough to one-up Mr. Ether with that $50 super chat. Very, very generous, Mr. Ether. Thank you so much. And same goes to Valk Mike. You know, Valk Mike just joins the channel, and so...
also glad to hear that you're killing it, Mr. Ether.
Yeah, Mr. Ether been pure fire lately, so shout-outs to Mr. Ether.
Sure.
Very humble guy, but he's just to be killing it. Very smart dude, too. I really like Mr. Ether. He always... one of the most active guys in the community. He deserves his own $50 super chat at this rate or more. So
I'm sure GRT made him more than that this weekend.
Yeah, he did well at GRT from what I know. And he says share it with Alex. Absolutely, Alex will certainly get a cut of that. The real Satoshi is City of London. Okay. And Valk Mike, I will send you some beers. I'm not sure, especially.
Hit us up in the Discord. I'll give you an address.
Yeah, you send me one of those blockchain beers so I can verify where it came from. Now they made. Okay, not gonna read that one. Can't get into some of these topics. Mr. Ether is a killer. Yes, the killer, Mr. Ether, the myth, the man, the legend, Killer Rob Ether is his name.
Mr. Ether is the ETH killer.
Killer indeed. Okay, guys, how much more can we drag this on? We can't. We gotta call it. I bet Alex is probably, watching on the sidelines, wondering when the hell are these guys gonna call this stream. He left 40 minutes ago. He's probably not too happy about us still going about it. But hey, this is what we do. It's a lot of fun. Again, much love to our audience. This is it. Gotta call it. Much love. Out the door we go. Cheers.
Everyone trade safely. Be careful out there. Have a good day.